Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close I could taste sweet victory. I know this life meant for me.
Adam, what's your point? The future looks bright.
My handshake is better than anything I ever saw. It's right here.
You are a one-of-one?
My son's right about it.
I don't think I've ever said this before.
All right, we got a special guest in the house. Humberto Boellert is in the house. Humberto, great to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
For some of you guys that know Humberto, he's kind of a big deal here in this building. But, of course, this is a tough weekend with all the events that took place. There's a lot of opinions. There's a lot of thoughts. I tweeted about this when it happened, and I said this 100% on Tim Walz. This could have been prevented if you lost complete control of your people, and I got a lot of people that were not happy about my comment, but I will tell you exactly why I am not changing my position and the comments I made. Alex Pretti should be here today if it wasn't for leadership. He should be here today. It's devastating when you watch that video. Whether you agree with his politics or not, this is a guy that loved America. This is a guy that loved his family. His family came out and put out a note. He did not seem like a bad guy, but there are laws that we have to follow. And unfortunately, this happened, and there's a lot of things that happened over the weekend. You know, reports of people's names being found in Telegram groups that are going out there protesting, doing all of this stuff. The whole playbook of rules for radicals needs to be looked at, which we will today. I'll go through the 13 rules for radicals just to remind everybody what that book that a lot of these guys, the playbook that they use, they go through. And, again, heartbreaking. We've seen all the clips, all the angles. We'll show any clips that we're capable of showing. Rob, you'll decide which ones YouTube's going to be okay for us to show or not. But that's that. So ton of stories there. We'll spend the first hour probably on that topic. But aside from that, a few other things that we need to get into. There's this anti-influencer declares guerrilla war against ICE. That's kind of a part of that video, but we'll show it to you anyways. Iran's supreme leader retreats underground, warned of likelihood of U.S. airstrikes that was brought to him. Trump announced he's skipping Super Bowl in California, criticizes performers Bad Bunny and Green Day. And apparently Bad Bunny was supposed to wear a dress. I think last minute they couldn't fit the dress. No, he changed his mind. He's not wearing the dress, and Trump's going to be skipping the Super Bowl, which should be interesting that he's skipping it. You know, he doesn't miss any of these events. I was at the college game with, Indiana and Miami, and he was there, okay? You go to UFC, he's there. You go to the big fights, he's there. For whatever reason, he's skipping this one. And by the way, it's going to be Seattle against New England. Yep. Which Rams could have won last night. They could have won it. A couple plays could have happened, but this is why football is football, and it's going to be Seattle against Patriots.
You think he's skipping it, Pat, because it's in L.A. and it's Seattle?
I don't think he cares about it. I think he'll go anywhere, flight anywhere.
It's probably like a scheduling.
I think there is something behind closed doors that happened that he's probably not happy with, that he's saying he's going to skip it. Again, we'll get into it because Tom's got thoughts on it. Again, more stories on what happened there. Major airlines cancel flights to Middle East with possible U.S. strike on Iran. Up in the air. Iran will retreat any attack as an all-out war, says senior Iran official. Again, more of these stories. That's January 24th story that's coming down. Shutdown risk grows as Democrats revolt after Minneapolis shooting. Senate cancels Monday vote as shutdown deadline looms. Mamdani announces free childcare for illegal aliens. Free childcare, folks. If you're illegal, go to New York. They're offering free childcare for you. It's a great advertisement to attract more illegal aliens. If somebody is watching this wondering what is a good city to move to if you're illegal, I would suggest go straight to New York City. They're giving you a commercial to tell you we want illegals in our city. Very noble of their mayor that wants more illegal aliens in their city. You have to respect the fact that Mamdani wants more illegal aliens in his city. You know, Vinny, the part of it is kind of noble. Because you decide, right, as a company, you can say what types of people we hire.
Of course.
You say, we want people with, MBAs. Yes. We want people with bachelor's degrees. We want you with a degree in, finance or whatever it may be. He's saying he wants illegal aliens to his city, which is great. Okay, send more to New York City. Yep. If you're part of a city that you don't want illegal aliens, encourage them. Maybe give them like a Greyhound ticket it's a strategy to use because they have better benefits in New York City for illegal aliens. Bill Maher says anti-COVID lockdown advocates were right. Wuhan lab leak wasn't a conspiracy theory. He continues, by the way. Bill Maher is trying to make new friends today. Bill Maher calls Mamdani a straight-up communist, warns Dems will lose more elections if they deny it. And then Scott Jennings has to explain to CNN why immigration enforcement runs smoothly in states other than Minnesota, and he breaks it down for them. CBS Evening News rakes in higher rating despite liberals moaning. CBS is coming up. Is that because of Barry Weiss? What's going on there? I mean, if they're increasing, maybe Barry's doing something right. You got to give her some credit. CNN's Harry Enton says even Democrats hate their own party. Can you imagine that? How bad is that to say even your own party hates your own party? Harry's a little bit. That's
He's
offensive,
edgy.
Harry.
He's
You know. Trump threatens 100% tariffs on Canada if it makes a deal with China. Again, going back at it. Carney pushes back on Trump's 100% tariff threat over China trade deal with Canada amid tensions. Mamdani calls ICE raids inhumane. Pledges to fight them in New York City. Top Trump lieutenants join in blasting Dems Tim Walz and Jacob Frey for inciting protesters. Tim Walz compares Trump's ICE crackdown in Minnesota to Nazi occupation told by Anne Frank. And by the way, don't you think comments like that incite, encourage people to come out and do dumb things? Don't you think comments like that enrages people? On a brighter note, this guy decides to climb a building in what country was this? Taiwan?
Taiwan. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
Taipei, Taiwan.
Taipei, Taiwan.
Tallest building.
Comparable to the World Trade Center building we have here in New York. He climbs it with no. Have you seen this video?
Live.
What do you mean,
Yeah,
seeing
like
that? You know how much
a free
anxiety
climber.
I've had?
It's called free climbing.
And then you
they
know what
use-
was the most anxiety? The guy gets all the way to the top and he just stands and he's going like this. I'm like, buddy, there's wind up there. Like, hold it together.
How did he get
You'd be
down?
like this.
How did he
That's
get-
the first thing I search. How did the guy get down?
Don't tell me.
I don't know how he got
Don't like
down.
a wimp. He went in and took like an elevator or something.
No.
Okay.
I have no idea how he
I
got
would've
down.
jumped.
But if you don't like heights,
No, I wouldn't have.
I would encourage you to skip that part at the end when we get into it. Now, having said that,
So you wouldn't want to do the interview with him right up on
Pat,
top?
I can see you doing the PBD podcast.
listen, no way.
Okay, let me ask you a question. How
no,
much money, real talk, Tommy, great.
Maybe a helicopter with a rope and a chair?
I'm being dead serious. At the top of that little thing, just
Yeah.
you and him, $10 million I give you. Would you do the podcast?
I'm
with him?
telling you right now, on air, you give me $1 billion, I'm not doing that interview.
You're $1 billion.
I have no interest to sit up
That's
there and
so
ask him
freaking
what was
crazy.
it
You know
like.
what's crazy?
No,
I believe you.
I have
I believe
no
you.
interest to do that. He can go up there and enjoy himself.
Oh, man.
And we celebrate it, but it's not something I'm interested in.
Oh,
But
man.
okay, having said that, you want some good news? Here's the good news. America's turning 250 this year. And by the way, we're doing something special on the 250th, 4th of July. Stay tuned. I'll announce it to you when it's ready to announce. It's going to be wild. But we're going to do a handful of special pieces of merch, limited edition numbered. Okay, this one's going to be out of 250 with the number 250. So it's numbered out of 250 for the 250-year celebration of U.S. It will not last long. Rob, play this clip. Future looks bright. We're excited about this year with all the chaos that's happening. When we break down to you what is really going on or makes sense to you. But having said that, Rob, go ahead and play this clip.
We don't just make products. We carry a legacy built on American craftsmanship, intention, and pride. 250 years of history, refined for today. Every detail tells a story. Every piece stands for who we are. This is tradition, reimagined. This is our 250 years limited edition collection. The future looks bright at 250.
Guys, this is all I'll tell you. Good luck if you sat on this one. If you wait, and by the way, for some of you guys that unfortunately will watch this afternoon because you wait for the clips, you can find the items that people buy on eBay. That'll be the only place you'll be able to get it. The hat will not last a long time. Again, it's limited merch, so it's numbered out of 250. If you go to eBay afterwards, you may find it because these things are not going to last but 30 minutes. They'll be gone in no time. Every time we do limited merch The hat comes in a box that says "Future Looks Bright" and the logo VT right on there. So go to vtmerch.com, place your order. Go to vtmerch.com, Rob. If you could just go to the website. If you go to vtmerch.com on the cover, you'll see the $250. Get the sweater because it's cold. Get the shirt and get the hat. And if not for you, buy it for somebody else as well.
We
Having
get close
said
up
that,
the shield. That shield is just amazing.
it is amazing. It is amazing. It's sick. Okay, having said that, let's get right into it with what happened this weekend. Rob, tragic event in Minneapolis. Alex Pretti was at the protests, and while the events are taking place, Rob, which clips can we show? Because at this point, people have seen many of the clips. Let's show this until it gets to the part of the shooting. Okay. Rob, go for it. So this is the protest that's going on. ISIS coming down. Lower the audio a little bit, Rob. That whistling is
In the street, obstructing.
And I think the majority of these officers were Border Patrol agents, correct?
they're Border Patrol agents, majority of them. So that's Alex.
There's the bear spray or the...
Fighting back, dragging the girl.
Okay, you can pause it right there. You can pause it right there. This leads to shooting, and eventually Alex dies after this event that takes place. And it's been talked about all over the place. The left is blaming Trump, calling him Gestapo, using phrases that is just, again, the types of phrases that cause people to jump to conclusion, saying this was intentional. Why did they do this? You know, CNN done a bunch of different interviews. I can read a bunch of the stories here, but let's kind of read one of them. Alex Pretti, 37, identified man as fatally shot by Border Patrol agent in Minneapolis. Rob, if you have a clip on that one, I'll go to this first. And then we got, is that Christy Noem?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and play this clip.
An individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but the armed suspect reacted violently. Fearing for his life and for the lives of his fellow officers around him, an agent fired defensive shots. Medics were on the scene immediately and attempted to deliver medical aid.
Okay, so that's that. I'll come to you first, Tom. What happened? What is your impression of what happened? And then, of course, we'll go into the rest of the issues.
Well, I don't need to break down the video because I think everybody has seen it from 10 angles, along with people putting spin on it. What I want to know is, how does an emergency room nurse get involved with a highly organized group? He was out there with his camera up, and he was directing traffic. There was no dispute that he stepped out into the street, and they were trying to direct cars to come up and stop. People in cars were, some of them were people that were also organized. So this guy puts himself out in harm's way. It didn't have to happen. There was a report from Minnesota News that his parents apparently told News that they said, don't go get involved with this. Why are you getting involved with this? So there was some concern on the part of the family. So he goes down where officers have actions going, and he was part of an organized group. He goes down there armed. He had his phone. And so I look at it and I'm like saying, Alex, you didn't have to die. What were you doing there? And more importantly, how did you get involved with these people and get into part of the organization to come down and disrupt traffic during a law enforcement action that was being carried out by the Border Patrol? That was my first response. And then we all saw what happened. It got crazy. And by the way, the police and law enforcement of every division and every department, whether it's Border Patrol that we saw here, by the way, Minnesota police, local police, where the hell were you when this is going on? And ICE, they don't get to break it down frame by frame in slow motion. This thing is happening at speed. And you heard the first discharge. All he had to do was stand up and say, wait, and put his arms straight out. They're either going to leave you on the ground or they're going to stand you up to the sidewalk, put you against a car or against a wall. That's all he had to do, is to yell, wait, and put his arms straight up to show with palms open. But instead, he chose to struggle, and he chose to be there in the first place. And I think it's a tragedy, but I want to know, Who organized this and who pulled this guy into it where he thought that it was okay to go down there? And by the way, his parents are telling media, we said, why are you getting involved in this? You shouldn't be down here.
Vinny, where are you at with this?
Well, first and foremost, you guys know what I do. I carry a 9mm Springfield Hellcat. You know I have it on me. I have it on me all the time. You know what I don't do, Pat? I don't go to organize protest, okay? Because there was a fact that he was actively tracking and targeting ICE on that secret Minnesota signal chat, okay? I don't go to protests with other agents who have guns and interfere with official federal business, okay? You know why? Because I'm not stupid, Patrick, and I know that there's a possibility if I get into a fight, something crazy might happen, okay? And I did some research. I wanted to find out about this gun because from what I saw, they took the gun, but he was still reaching for something because he had 2 extra clips. I remember I was looking for a gun last year because I already have a 6 Sauer, Tommy. Right now I have a Hellcat. I have a bunch of guns. But the gun that he had was a 6 Sauer P320. And the reason I didn't get it, do you know why? It's been known for a history of misfiring by itself. Law enforcement, there's lawsuits. Rob, look at the 6 Sauer P320, subject to over 100 lawsuits alleging that it can fire without a trigger pull. Rob, we don't have to go to it. There's a bunch of videos. There's one of cops in a hospital. They're arresting some individual. Pat, they grab the guy's legs, and the cop's gun goes and shoots, and all the cops are tripping out. So add this to the recipe of disaster. Are you ready for this? He's there. He's interfering. They're in the skirmish. One agent grabs the gun. He's walking away. That gun misfires. This is my opinion. Misfires. It spooks everybody there. And mind you, simultaneously, he's grabbing for the gun that he thinks is still there, okay? But let's go back. Why is he there? He's there because he's told from his governor, and he's getting I don't know if he was getting paid or not, but I don't know why anybody else would be there if you're not going to be getting money for it, unless you're that brainwashed. But they were told, go there, get in their faces. It's a call to action. I tweeted earlier today, Rob, can you please just show this is the epitome of what is happening right now in Minnesota. This picture right here. It's Tim Walz behind the gate in his mansion with security telling his useful idiots to go and die to distract from what, guys? The billions and billions of dollars of fraud in his state and to keep protecting illegals, aka Democratic voters. At the end of the day, take all your emotion out and take a step back. Why? Why Minnesota? Why is it happening? And I think that's the key issue. Because, Pat, if you don't mind, Rob, did you hear one thing of Ivory Smith? Can you show these photos? You'll never hear this or you'll never see this. I sent Rob 3 photos on Slack. Could you go to the young black girl? This is Ivory Smith, okay? Does anybody know about her? Killed by a drunk driver, her mother critically injured, 7 years old. Go to Jocelyn Nungare. Pat, this 12-year-old was raped. Her throat was slit by 2 illegals from Venezuela, 12 years old. And then the last, you want to talk about nurses, Laken Riley was 22 years old jogging. I saw a video of her parents showing up to the scene. Pat, I didn't want to send it to you, and I'm not going to because it'll ground you. They were on the floor crying. She was jogging. The guy was trying to sexually assault her. For 18 minutes, she fought him. And then he crushed her head with a rock. Nobody cares. No media, no leftists. It's all bullshit. Sorry for my language. It's all fake, okay? So when you start caring about people like that, I'll start caring about some stupid nurse that shouldn't have been there in the first place.
And people can talk about, oh, he was disarmed and things like that. He may have been disarmed, but he wasn't giving up. And he's still in a struggle that was going at speed with federal officers. And then a gun fires, his gun that he brought to the event. So, come on. I mean, it's a tragedy that he's dead, but it was his decision that he was there.
Humberto.
I think in this case, context really matters. Like, if you look, I mean, I'm all for the Second Amendment, but if you look at every federal building, all right, guns are not allowed, all right? And this is a federal interaction with a federal officer. Mm-hmm. Like, we made the rules so people that are going to have an interaction with the federal government don't have guns on them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the second thing is the context of a riot. Like, I don't know if any of you guys been inside of a riot. Like, things, and what Tom said, like, time moves faster than it actually moves in real life. Like, these are split-second decisions. Mm-hmm. One gun going off, like, the whole, like, a riot. I don't know if you guys seen when there's, like, big stampedes of people and people get trampled. Like one thing that goes wrong, it will trigger the whole crowd and people are gonna go crazy. It's a big tragedy every time an American life is lost. Doesn't matter which side it is.
For sure.
Like I'm gonna take that to the grave. You know, like it's a big tragedy. But in a context of a riot, in the context of an interaction with a federal officer, I think it's terrible. That's
He also didn't have his permit. He didn't have his ID, which is it's illegal. He didn't have all that. And I don't know, is Minnesota have a law for bringing a firearm to a political protest? I don't know. I don't know the laws in Minnesota, but I don't see that'd be something that you do. Why would you bring a gun? Why would you bring a gun and get into everybody's face unless you were asking for it?
Well, I want to get back into the story you talk about of who they're not talking about. But before we do, can you do me a favor, Rob, and play the Jacob Fry clip of him criticizing ICE? Here's Jacob Fry, the mayor. Here's what he had to say. Go ahead, Rob.
This is not a partisan issue. This is an American issue. This administration and everyone involved in this operation should be reflecting. They should be reflecting right now and asking themselves, what exactly are you accomplishing? If the goal was to achieve peace and safety, this is doing exactly the opposite. If the goal was to achieve calm and prosperity, this is doing exactly the opposite. Are you standing up for American families right now, or are we tearing them apart?
Okay.
The invasion of these heavily...
We can pause that right there. You know, one sits there, there's different people. And by the way, I called this 2 years ago when they said they're going to deport everybody. I said chaos is going to be nasty. I said this in 24 when they said this. And I'm talking in June is when I said this, of 24. I said, look how nasty the clips are going to be and how it's going to... Rob, if we can even go back and try to find that clip from 24 when I talked about this, we have to search technology to be able to do that. You know which one I'm talking about on the side that we can do that? Let's see if you can pull it up. Rob's a magician. So, so go through all the communities of people that are seeing this. Let's go to the average person in America who doesn't follow politics closely. They're just an average father, mother. I got a job. I pay the bills. I take care of my kids. I take them to soccer. I'm a soccer mom. I go to church. I don't go to church. I watch football. The average person. To the average person in America, what does this look like? To the average person in America, what does it look like?
What's happening?
To the average person in America.
It's Gestapo. They're killing These guys are walking around, grabbing American civilians and just shooting them point blank.
And you know who I'm talking about? You know how they say, what service every year at the church is very busy? What service
Christmas,
is it?
Easter.
Easter or what? Christmas. It's normally those two, right?
Yes.
Okay. What percentage of people watch the news 24/7? Not a lot, okay?
No.
But imagine those who watch the news every time something happens.
Yes.
So, oh my God, did somebody get shot in Minneapolis? Yes. Let me go to CNN.
Yes.
Let me go to NBC. Let me go to ABC. And they look at this and say, they killed an innocent man. Are you flipping kidding me? That's what they consume. By the way, Rob, the link I sent you on Laken Riley, the tragic, I don't even know what words to use, happened with Laken Riley. Do you want to know why the American people, those who follow this story, are kind of sitting there saying you've been praying for something like this? The enemy has been. Go a little bit lower when you look at the story. The 5 days, go a little bit lower, Rob, go lower to, I want to say go up 3 paragraphs. Go up 3 paragraphs. Go up 3, right there. Okay, right there. Curtis Houck's study showed that ABC, CBS, and NBC gave 20 minutes and 33 seconds to Laken Riley's trial over 5 days. Only 20 minutes and 33 seconds between ABC, CBS, NBC. This is before Barry Weiss, okay? Which was about 1/4 of the coverage they devoted to the garbage gate story against Donald Trump in the final days of the presidential campaign. Tony Hinchcliffe's joke about Puerto Rico got 77 minutes. So what does this mean? Be good. We need that story. Yes, that's a good story. Alex Pretti, we need that story. Why? This is good. We have to make ICE look good. And by the way, while we're talking this morning with Humberto, just so you guys know, these are not perfect candidates for them. They would prefer somebody that was colored or black, or they need a little bit more, but they'll still use it for their own benefit. They'll still use it. How much coverage did they get to Lake and Riley? It doesn't meet their narrative. It makes illegal immigrants not, undocumented, immigrants. You realize the crime that is taking place in America, but that's not what they want the American people to see. They want to be able to shake things up, because the reality of it is, when I said, go to the Tim Walz tweet, Rob, when I said, this whole thing falls 100% on Tim Walz. Why does it fall 100% on Tim Walz? This is 100% on you. You're the leader of the state who lost complete control. Go a little bit lower and look at the commentary of people rebuttaling to it. Okay, go to the top one. This signals the vast fraud conducted. Skip that one. Also, government representatives. History doesn't care about excuses. Wealthy Republicans must provide. So if the government puts federal thugs in your town, look at the verbiage. Are you saying the state has the right to fight back? I'm going to answer that question for you. We can see the victim was trying to protect two women who were being violent, shoved by ICE agents. He didn't have to be a part of it. Go a little bit lower, Rob. Go a little bit lower. Does it make you feel better to blame a Democrat when you're literally watching masked, untrained government officials murdering people in the streets? Perfect. Okay. All of these things are things that people are talking about back and forth. And again, this is a very sensitive topic. Ask yourself the question, why did the U.S. government have to send ICE agents into those areas? Why? Why? Could this have been prevented? 100%. Well, what do you mean? This is the Gestapo. This is ICE. This is what they want to do. They don't want to do that, but they have to do that. Why? Because the local and state officials are not cooperating with the federal government to give them the reports. If the local and the state officials were cooperating and sending reports to the federal government of the crimes the illegal immigrants are committing in that local city or that state, we don't need to send ICE, because then now we're cooperating. Well, how come this didn't happen under Obama? Ready for this one? Let's go through it. It's blue cities. All Obama's going to do is, hey, guys, give us the list. Oh, no problem, Mr. Obama. Oh, no problem, Jesus. Oh, no problem, President Obama. Here's the list. What else do you need? What else do you need? We'll cooperate with you. We'll give it to you. Of course they're going to cooperate with you, because it's blue. Here, you think blue's going to cooperate with Trump to make him look good? No. You know what the blue hates, though, which Humberto said this morning? What's down 20%? Crime is down 20%.
Murder.
Why is it down 20%? Because of blue policies? Hell no. Why is it down 20%? Pull up the report, Rob, that even CBS had to put up, that so many people were furious, got 50 million views on X. Crime is down. Murder is down 20%. But the American people are not going to see this, because CBS, NBC, ABC, CNN, when you watch it, they're not going to be giving you this report. The report's going to be a very different report. Murder is down 20%. Why? Border Patrol of people crossing the border today. You know what it's down to? Nothing. Ask the question, why? So why didn't Minnesota? So now let's ask a different question, Rob. Can you pull up right there? Look at that chart. Can you show that, please? U.S. murder rate in 2026. What happened? What happened? Why did it drop the way it has? Why? Answer this question. Of course you have to use Alex Pretti and drive the hell out of it, because you're trying to divide, because you want to blame everything on Trump. Of course you have to do that. That's the playbook. But why don't you cooperate? And by the way, Tim Walz or all these other places, what would have happened if Tim Walz would have cooperated? Jacob Fry, when you're blaming ICE, what if you would have cooperated? What if you would have sent a report back to the White House? What if you would have told them, here's how many illegals we have, let's arrest them. They're breaking the law, they're stealing money from our taxpayers. No, I need their votes, because if I cooperate, I may not get reelected. So I'll go dance like them. I'll go eat whatever the banana and all the stuff that they're talking about. I'll go do all that stuff. No, I can't do that. Go back to that stat, Rob, that you just had. Okay, what happened to stats? Okay. All the numbers that's going on right now all over the place, we're seeing this. So if you cooperated, this would have never, ever happened. Alex would have been here. Tim Walz, it's on you. Fry, it's on you. All you have to do is work hand in hand with the U.S. government. Do you remember the one mayor, I believe, that was in D.C. saying, yeah, we're working with the White House because we want the streets to get cleaner. And guess what? The president has cleaned up the city. And she is not a Republican. But she was cooperating. Why? Because she wanted to make sure her people were safer. You are playing politics. The blood of Alex Pretti is in the hands of Tim Walz and in the hands of Jacob Frey. This could have been prevented. It could have been prevented if you cooperated. What are the states that ICE has been sent to? What cities? What states? It's not every state. It's not every city. I think it's California, LA. I think Maine is another one. I think Illinois, Chicago is another one. And I think Minnesota is another one. If it's really Trump's trying to target everybody, why is he not doing it in all 50 states? Why not? Maybe those mayors, maybe those local officials, maybe those local PDs are giving that report back to him. Maybe they are, so they don't have to. Maybe they're working as something called a team to make America safer. A team. And then, by the way, so let's do this. Let's role play this. So let's just say the folks in Minneapolis that want to be safe, that are sick and tired of the fraud, but they're not loud people. The families in Chicago who are going around saying, enough with these crimes. I want my kid to play outside without me being worried about it or be afraid of it, right? So now let's talk to those families who actually want the president to come and intervene. What if the president doesn't? So go to the other situation. Let's not send ICE. Do you know what happens? If you don't send it, it's your fault. If you do send it, it's your fault. Do you get the formula? It doesn't matter what happens. It's called the rules for radicals. Rob, can you go online and just type up ChatGPT, what are the 13 rules for radicals? Let's just read it. Open hand. This is their playbook, folks. What are the 13 rules for radicals? One by one. This is their playbook that they use, okay? That's exactly the one by Saul Alinsky. Power is not only what you have, but what the enemy thinks you have. Perception of power is often as important as real power. Number 2, never go outside the experience of your people. If people don't understand it, they won't support it. 3, whenever possible, go outside the experience of the enemy. Confuse, exhaust, and destabilize them. It's exactly what they're doing. Number 4, make the enemy live up to their own book of rules. Use their standards against them. They'll often fail to meet them. The reporter from CNN, I believe it's Dana, asking the guy, not the director, but one of the guys that was up there, he's like, so are you saying that the Alex didn't have the right for Second Amendment? This was kind of surprising for somebody that's this is what they do. They'll
straight
use
from the playbook.
Say that again? That's in the playbook right there. Ridicule is man's most potent weapon. It's hard to counter and infuriates opponents. Keep ridiculing them.
You're a fascist.
That's right. A good tactic is one your people enjoy. If it's fun, people will keep doing it. A tactic that drags on too long becomes a drag. Keep pressure fresh and dynamic. Keep the pressure on. Never let up. Relentless action is how you win. The threat is usually more terrifying than the thing itself. Anticipation often creates more fear than action. If you push a negative hard enough, it will break through enough into its counter side. Overreach forces reaction and concessions. The price of successful attack is constructive alternative. You must have a solution ready, which, by the way, we're going to get into their solution as well, Humberto. I'm going to come to you with their solution, what they're planning on doing next, probably with their NGOs, the DA, everything that they have control over. Pick the target, freeze it, personalize it, and polarize it. Don't fight systems, fight symbols and people. Target, isolate, simplify, and focus attacks until the opponent cracks. That's what they're doing. And by the way, they've done this so many times, and you know who it works on? Whoever's the youngest generation and the old and emotional that just want their Social Security, okay? The people that can think for themselves, you have to see through what's going on here. They needed this crisis. They needed Alex Pretti. They need this more than you know, because in every possible way. Did you see the approval rating for Trump that came up, Rob? Did you guys see the approval rating that just came up for Trump, 49%?
More.
Yeah.
And 70% are extremely positive.
Yeah. So this was a report that we just talked about a couple of days ago on X. It was on our group text that we sent to each other, Rob, which I'll send it to you in a minute for us to show up. So to me, this could have been prevented. All you had to do was cooperate. You refused to cooperate. Because of that, this took place. Vinny.
Well, I mean, you basically laid out exactly what the hell's going on. But let's take just a really step back, because I want people
right there real quick since you pulled it up.
Show that, Rob.
Rasmussen report, Trump's overnight presidential job approval is in. Single overnight approval for last night, 49.58% is the highest in over a month. His approval is up today in a 5 single day rolling. By the way, Can you do me a favor, and maybe I'll play this clip, and I'll come to you.
Okay.
Meanwhile, here's what a guy who's allegedly part of Antifa, what he's saying in his video. He's literally telling people to grab arms. Let's go. Watch this clip. Don't show the whole thing, but let's show the first 10, 20 seconds.
My name is Kyle. I'm Antifa, and there's so much rage in me that I've had to record this like 15 times trying to get the message out. They fucked up, okay? Go watch my other videos. Doesn't matter if you're not here and you're not caught up. You missed the fucking fight. But if you are, it's time to suit up. Boots on the ground. Nicollet and fucking 26th. My house is 4 blocks away. Anywhere between Franklin and Nicollet and 26th and Nicollet.
Pause it right there. They want this. They want this to go to 100. They need the temperature to go to the roof. They need that. This is rules for radicals, folks. It's working. They want that momentum because it was going too much on the other side. Davos, everybody's listening to Trump. Everything's going good. Negotiations are taking place. No, we need this. We can't have somebody go out there and be able to win as much as he is. There's no way we can have that. They need to divide. Vinny.
And by the way, I don't know if it's true or not, Rob, but allegedly this guy, when he's talking about boots on the ground, I think it might be stiletto boots because he's wearing dresses, if I'm not mistaken, Rob. That guy is, what would you call him allegedly, Rob? Is that the guy? This guy right here? If that's him.
Is it the same guy?
I mean, look at the tattoos. I don't know. Look at the tattoo on the neck.
Yeah, take a look at the face tattoo.
Is that him?
Yeah, it's the
Is
same
that the
guy.
boots? So listen, he has a lot going on in his world, in his life. So I'm pretty sure he's really confused. But can we just take a step back? Why, besides the billions and the distraction, why? I've been trying to wrestle with this. Why are Democrats, Tom, so pro illegals? They don't care about all the young girls that are getting raped and murdered. And I thought about it. Deportations threaten Democratic power. Because think about it. For 4 years, when we were on this podcast screaming and going, dude, the border is wide open. Why? And Alejandro Mayorkas would sit in Congress.
Importing voters.
Importing 15 to 20 million people. And every time we talked, they told us to shut up because we were racist. Okay? So now all these people are in 4 years of military age men that are doing whatever they want in this country. And by the way, they don't care. Guys, they don't care about the 300,000 missing children that went missing at the border, okay? Sex slave, sex trafficking, cheap labor. Trump has found 60,000 of them and actually recovered them. But if you think about it, these are their voters. The more voters, they're dying to give them amnesty. That's why they don't want these people to have to show ID to vote. Remember that whole, it's racist if you show them, if you ask them for IDs. This is the game plan because when you're the Democratic Party and you have nothing, you have no policy, you have no leaders, you have nothing. What is the Democratic Party running on right now? This is what they have. It's chaos, Tom. It's illegals. We love illegals because they are our voters. Okay, once those are gone, Trump is deporting voters. They're going crazy because they're losing their base. You understand? Who's the number one front runner? Gavin Newsom. And what's his policy? I'm proud that I give illegals free this and free that and come to California. That's it. That's all this is about. They're hemorrhaging voters. Donald Trump is single-handedly taking every single one of their votes and plucking them. And they have to fight to keep it.
So there's a layer of things happening, and people got to stay with the story, and it's not complicated. Number one, you have Nick Shirley and others are exposing what's going on. We're also exposing the illegal immigration, and we're deporting their voters, and we're finding out how in the Somali community, this is just a case study of what's happening everywhere, that the Democrats are using. They have a playbook to create these NGOs and to get money in, and then that money goes into the campaign. So when you start deporting people and you start shining the light on the daycare and everything in Minnesota, you start dismantling the fraud machine that they've been using to stay in power. There's also a shift in electoral votes going south. Believe it or not, they know it. In 32, not 28, but 32, Minnesota can go red. When you look at where the electoral votes are going to be in the districts, Minneapolis is everything from Minnesota in terms of presidential election. So when you look and see what's happening, deport people, take away the voters, expose the fraud, expose the money, suddenly the spotlight in a week and a half was on who?
Tim Walz,
Correct.
And Jacob Fry, and Ilhan Omar.
Exactly. And suddenly there are, shock troops and their own military coming to help them. I've been looking at things all weekend. There is a Special Forces warrant officer that described the U.S. military handbook of dismantling insurgency. He said, you're seeing it step by step. And he was talking step here, step there, what we're seeing. He said, this is phase one of something we've spent decades trying to keep down internationally that now is in our own soil. The Revolutionary Machine, this is an amazing account. It's 11 pages long, comes from Insurrection Barbie, talking about the playbook. They're publishing the playbook that these folks are using and indicating where and how it's being funded by people like Code Pink and Singham, who you pointed out, the billionaire or near billionaire that's in overseas, that's floating it in. You have people like Jonathan Turley that pointed out, he says, look, go take a look at what Chris Mays, Attorney General, is saying. He said, don't see them as real law enforcement. And there is a possibility of citizens, encountering them and shooting them under state law. You've got Attorney General saying that. Tim Walz leading it and saying, the public should not treat Border Patrol or ICE officers as real law enforcement. These are responses because the whole system is being dismantled by Trump. Deportation, exposure of voter fraud, exposure of the fraud happening in daycare centers. It's just the beginning. And the reaction you're having here, they are protecting the mechanism that they have been building for 10 years.
Humberto.
We had an amazing dinner 2 weeks ago, and we talked about likability, all right? Nobody likes the ally, all right? They don't like the lady that got shot last time. They don't like this guy that got shot this week. They don't like the Antifa guy because he's not part of the crowd. He's an ally. Likability in this situation is very important. What happens with the video of the ally that he's talking about? Like, imagine, Vinny, if you did the same video a year ago before Trump was president, and you're like, oh, we're going to go to the border and we're going to round up all these pesky Chileans and throw them outside the border. You will be arrested immediately, all right? So even though that guy's a radical, he has institutional power behind him, all right? He has DAs, he has elected officials, he has people that will bail him out, he has NGO money, all right? That's the scary thing about this. Like, this looks a guy that will dress like a woman and has all the tattoos and everything.
He knows he's protected.
He's protected, all right?
Just look, think about the two black girls that went into the church, which, by the way, there's some details of the court filings that came out. I'll have Rob show you, Pat. Did you hear what they were doing? What they were actually doing in the church? Women broke their arms, and these people were running up to children, grabbing kids in the hallway that were blocking the daycare, and they were yelling, where does it say? Terrorizing children. Kids were weeping. One of them grabbed the kid. I think it's on the next page, Robbie. Grabbed the kid and said, do you know that your parents are Nazis? Look in the bottom. Your parents are Nazis. And then on the next page, screaming Nazi. And then they looked at one of the kids and said, you know your father is going to burn in hell. Those two people were arrested, and in 2 days, the judge, Biden-appointed judge, releases them from jail. So it's not even, well, what are we even doing now? It's like,
not only here, it's international. They spend millions of dollars on having people that will bail them out. Now, the big question here is why? What are they trying to achieve on the long run? Because we're going to have more murder, we're going to have more insurrections, we're going to have more things brought down until we don't discover what's the objective. Like, do they want a constitutional amendment? Do they want to change, government? What do they want to do?
They just want to burn it down. Alberto, these are the Joker, like the movie Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, the first one. They just want to burn it down, the same as the other Joker.
Those are the ground soldiers.
And they have to break the American family and then break the American Constitution.
What is the opposite argument? Give me this. What is the opposition saying? What is their argument against everything that's going on right now?
Well,
logical argument. Give me the logical argument the opposition is given.
Trump is a dictator, and he's being authoritative, and he's being like Hitler. I mean, that's the easy go-to is Trump is being Hitler. He's sending out these...
But that's not logical. To me, that's emotional. Give me the logical player. What is the logical player saying?
You may not agree with it, but being anti-trans is anti-personal rights. That person has the right to be like that. You're taking away their right to be. And if kids don't know where they are, you're preventing children from experiencing who they are. They have the right. A lot of the things that they're talking about in globalism, Pat, is you have to create rights for others and create groups where you can tell them that their rights are being impugned. It goes right back to what was a good cause that happened in American civil rights movement, where we said all people should have rights regardless of who they are, and all created equal, all men are created equal. What the Dems and what the logical side of globalists and the far left Dems is to create a right in a person that sounds logical, so you're defending them and you create a victim in them, and what you're really doing is intentionally breaking the moral code and the structure of the society as it is.
I'll give you another one. This is America, okay? We should have the open, bring them in, let them come here because they're escaping their country and their country's bad. They need to come here because the Statue of Liberty says, come here, bring your weak, bring everything. This is America. We're supposed to accept everybody.
They're refugees.
That's their
they're
thing.
political prisoners.
Like, listen, but they're illegal. They have a record. They're fleeing their country, Patrick. They're fleeing their country. And yet, if they come here and they have a baby here, that baby has to be taken care of and protected. That's it. That's it. Anybody should come here. And mind you, the people that are the loudest are the ones protected. They're in gated communities. They have security. They're not dealing with any of this. That's what drives me crazy. They're not dealing. Tim Walz is never going to get the phone call. Hey, Tim, yeah, your daughter, yeah, I'm sorry to tell you, she was murdered by an illegal. He's not going to get that. She has security. She's protected. They're never going to get that phone call, so it's never going to affect them, and he's never going to care. None of them. You think Barack Obama's out there putting out a letter, basically telling people, guys, keep going. Keep going. This is the guy that's still in the lead for deportations. 2025, Trump was behind him by almost 200,000. By the way, you heard his attitude in 2013 about the border? Like, yeah, you saw
Yes,
this.
I'm not an emperor. This is a good clip to watch.
You know, I'm the President of the United States. I'm not the Emperor of the United States. My job is to execute laws that are passed. And Congress right now has not changed what I consider to be a broken immigration system. And what that means is that we have certain obligations to enforce the laws that are in place, even if we think that in many cases the results may be tragic. There are going to be some stories that break our hearts. And more importantly, we're going to continue to have an economy that is stifled by a really inefficient system where not only are we deporting folks, but we also have a legal immigration system that is so bottlenecked that it forces sometimes people into the illegal system. You know, I'm the President of the United States. I'm not.
Isn't that weird? Like, what? Isn't that weird?
But you can look at the logical argument, but if remember from Saul Alinsky, the stuff you just showed, Pat, to the playbooks we're seeing, their first point of trigger is emotion.
Tom, but that's not it, though. You're right, but what I'm trying to tell you is, my friend would always tell me, he says, you know what? I don't know why, Pat, but every time a Democrat's in, the protesters goes away. I just want to be peaceful. I said, that's part of the playbook, guy. That's what they're supposed to sell. They just won. Yeah. They got a guy that does $100 million a year in revenue to make that comment. How many of your employees are not going to believe that? They're going to say, well, if he's doing $100 million, he must know what he's talking about. He says when Democrats are there, there's no protesting. Yes, because Republicans have jobs. Republicans don't go hire agitators to say, come out there. And that's the playbook of the opposing side. Now, by the way, you have to realize they have their own set of mistakes and issues that they're dealing with. We're not sitting here saying it's perfection there as well. But when it comes down to this, well, why were they so good to Obama? Because it's the left cooperating with the left. Why would they not cooperate with the left? It's don't cooperate with the right. And this will continue of them not cooperating with the right because the right is the enemy. This is a playbook that keeps happening over and over and over and over again. Rob, can you go back to my Twitter account? I put this one thing there. Again, this was, go back to the previous one if you could. Go up a little bit. Right there, that one right there. The left's formula for creating chaos. Label opponents as Hitler, Gestapo, or extremists. Use that language that inflames. Stoke emotion, hate, fear, animosity. Deploy NGOs to fund paid protesters and agitators. Raise tensions until violence erupts. Exploit the crisis and blame Trump. Amplify chaos. Gaslight the American people. Win elections. Implement bad policies that weaken America and empowers enemies, which, by the way, the border, the crimes. The public eventually recognize the manipulation. You lose the next election. Reset, repeat the same playbook. Voters forget the previous administration and assume you've changed. Long-term goal, destabilize and destroy America. It's a very simple playbook. And it's happening right before our eyes over and over again. So now this is the question for us to be thinking about. Do you think this is it? Or do you think the temperatures are going to go here, or do you think this is the highest we hit?
It's going to go more, especially when, are you ready for this? When an ICE agent gets severely injured because they're biting off their fingers and they're, the guy yesterday in front of the hotel that was protecting them. Wait until now the law enforcement, something happens on that side, it's going to go even worse because there is nothing worse than a on edge, already scared, because but like you said, guys, that real-time stuff, all the people out there that are talking about guns, they've never held a gun, they've never been in that type of situation. Once an ICE agent gets killed, because that's the goal, that's the rhetoric that they want. Once that happens, Pat, now you're going to have both sides ready to go. It's going to get worse. Guarantee it's going to get worse, especially in the next couple months, midterms.
I disagree a little bit.
Go ahead.
There's a point where we call this a low-intensity civil war, all right?
Okay.
It's right on the verge. It never breaks out because once it gets too hot, it's not longer useful, all right? Because if the fights get too hot, if there's too many weapons on the street, they can make institutional changes. They can get a guy elected afterwards. They can get money for the NGOs. So they keep it like if it's out of 10, they will keep it at a 5, at a 5, at a 5, at a 5. They will let it go. You need to know that the media, like Pat covered, that they gave Lake and Riley 22 minutes, all right? So they're in control of the mass population still. Like things are changing, we're the new media and everything, but they're still in control of the narrative. They put it together, all right? So whatever matters, they will hide. Whatever they want to show, they will show. And if it gets too hot, it's no longer useful.
And I think the president, I could see that point. I love the fact
because then Trump has other tools.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? If it gets too hot, he has.
And I love that you brought that up because people, and I was at fault too. Last week I was like, Insurrection Act. That's exactly what they want. The moment he calls for that, they're going to say, you see, he's Hitler, he's a Nazi, he put Gestapo in.
It's part of the playbook. The action,
playing perfect though. He's not doing it on purpose.
The action is a reaction.
Yeah, of
all
course.
right?
But he's playing it perfect, I think.
So I'm going to go a little inverse here. I believe the future looks bright because I trust the Constitution, I trust the next generation, and I trust that there's 50% of people right now think the president's doing a good job. I trust voices that are pointing out, look, these people have systems and they're circulating it and they're making themselves be aware. I believe the future looks bright, but I think we have stage 1 cancer and the chemotherapy and the treatment, Pat, is going to be rough. And I think it's going to get a little bit hotter and a little bit heavier. But I think that flame and that heat is going to purify and strengthen the ultimate response that I see below the surface and I see coming. But I think it's going to get a little bit hotter now. They don't have their person of color with children getting run over in the street by a federal vehicle. They don't have that yet. They want that. They do not have the really big martyr they want, and they're going to keep pushing for it. So it's going to get tough, and it's going to get rough for a little while, but I believe the future looks bright because I'm seeing things such as that President poll and these people bringing things out, Pat. I see it, and I believe that below the surface, there's an America, and there's a spine and a backbone and a bright tomorrow.
Oh, Tom, just so you know, I'm 100% there. But you have to also realize, like
I'm not trying to convince.
No. When we first started our insurance company, 7 people are in the room. Okay, it's 3:30 in the morning. I'm looking at everybody. I'm looking at left. I said, we're starting an insurance company, and one guy runs out to get his first application in. He wants to be the first guy to be there. No problem. But I said, let me just tell you guys something here. As excited as you guys are, 2 of you will turn against us and become enemies. Oh, that will never happen. I said 100%. But I said it the night we started the company. It's September 24th morning. So it's 23rd evening going into 24th. I said 2 of you will turn. Within 90 days, 2 of them turn against the company.
Weird.
Okay, and we moved on. You have to realize it's expected. There's nobody that goes to this next level not expecting games and manipulation and any of that stuff. I'm just wondering, for those guys, by the way, that Brian Krasenstein thing that you showed this morning, which I was surprised, I had no idea. Can you pull this up, Rob? Tom, what did you find about him?
So Cam Higbee and others were able to find a list of the people that were in the Signal chat, and they created a screen capture. And then many people created the screen capture because the Signal chat was broken and broke open and exposed. So you have not one person with AI, multiple people showing it. Okay, so let's put that first platform, Pat. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then Brian Krassenstein, not Ed, but it showed that Brian now Ed may have been in there too, but this particular one was Brian. Brian Krassenstein's in there, and people are saying, what the hell is Brian Krassenstein doing in the Signal chat for Minneapolis to foment, discord and to, interfere with federal officers doing their job from multiple agencies? And so people started doing that. And all of a sudden, Brian comes out almost like he has to say something. I can't read his mind, but he comes out, yes, it's true. I'm in the Signal group chat. Cry some more, MAGA. It's like he's daring people to come after it. But other people now are also pointing up. They're going, wait a minute, dude. If you're in the Signal chat, you could be accessory to inciting these riots and interfering with federal officers. And so Krassenstein got busted. So a long time there have been allegations out there, and you can find them. And these are allegations that the Krassenstein brothers have been taking money from liberal NGOs, and that's been funding them. Allegations are everywhere. Who knows what's right? But it's interesting that there's so many people and that these guys go to such extents to deny it. But that's what we're seeing today. So you have a liberal pundit, Pat, who's out there, who was in the Signal chat, along with the lieutenant governor, was the admin.
Oh, by the way, and him and his brother, they're the ones that are out there, like, showing people's names. He's like, make this person famous. Where's his address? Where's his? These guys are freaking dangerous. They're doxing, and mind you, you guys nailed it. He's untouchable. How can he get away with it? And what did he respond at the bottom, Rob? What's his response to the person right there? What's he saying?
We must fight back.
The ignorance is genuinely baffling. Like, it's that they walk around, Tom, when you know that you're not going to get arrested and not get in trouble.
And look who they're flagging.
By the way, I want you to show, because you know who
Elon
retweeted
Musk.
this?
Yep.
You know who retweeted? Oh, Elon saw this. Rob, can you pull up what I just text you? Elon retweeted the list of names in that group. Okay? So those guys are going to play their games. That's kind of where I was going with this. There's going to be agitators like this. Look at this. Elon retweeted it. Zoom in a little bit. Thank you. Minneapolis Signal infiltrated. I have infiltrated organizational Signal groups all around Minneapolis with the sole intention of tracking down federal agents and impeding, assaulting, and obstructing them. Buckle up. All will be revealed. Each area of the city has a signal or several signals. Let's start with a screen recording of the members of the south side of the. So look, everyone's name is in there, and you can kind of go and look who's in there. But this is going to continue. The enemy's not going to stop. They're not going to stop playing games. The interesting part here, which is kind of annoying to them, is the guy they're going up against. I'm willing to say, if the president doesn't lose the 2020 election, whatever you want to call 2020 election, if he's not in there in 2020, he doesn't do as good of a job he's doing right now as a president as he would have had. You know why? Let me explain to you why. So you come in 4 years, you're president. Mm-hmm. You choose the wrong team.
Yes.
You choose Pence. Backstabs you.
Yeah.
You choose, how many names can we say that they flipped on him, right?
The Pompeo, the freaking
everybody.
all of them.
And everybody would probably do things like, he's just a business guy. He has no clue what's going on. This guy's a lightweight. We'll run this. We'll run this. We'll run this. And then he starts fired. Now he's by himself. Almost by himself at the end of the term, if you think about it.
Of course.
His own VP turns against him.
Of course.
Okay? So then, for 4 years, all you're watching is how terrible of a human being you are. For 4 years, behind closed doors, he's strategizing and studying the playbook, talking to everybody and anybody. You don't think information's coming back to him? Everything's coming back to him. Then he comes back for the third term, okay, which is now the third term. You know how well-trained he is for this job, knowing all the playbooks? He knows all of them. Anything and everything they try to do has been filtered out, and he reads through 90% of the BS. The 10% still gets through, but 90% of BS. That's an enemy. You don't want a guy like that to go through. That's who they're dealing with. We're going to see what happens next, the decisions he makes next with this. I don't see this thing slowing down. And by the way, if you want to go through a couple different things here, Rob, pull up what AOC said. Here's AOC urging U.S. Senate to block ICE funding after armed protester fatally shot in Minneapolis. Go ahead, Rob.
Foregone conclusion. But again, Democrats do have the ability. There are 10, Republicans do need 10 Democratic votes in the United States Senate to pass continued unfettered ICE voting with no guardrails as it stands. And I think that regardless of where you are in the Democratic Party, this moment and this incident proves that the status quo cannot stand. And I would implore my Democratic colleagues in the Senate to vote no against maintaining this DHS funding as it stands.
This is their new defund the police. This is it. Take the
right,
money
defund
away.
the police.
Take the money away and get them less trained and less thing. Instead of her saying, "Hey guys, let's just get the illegals out. 70% of them are bad. Let's just clean house." And it's unbelievable. You're right. This is working.
And it's scary because
they're
close to it, because remember, you've got these Republicans that always tend to go on social issues. They jump over. Lisa Murkowski, Alaska, I believe, both senators in Maine and one in Pennsylvania. That's 4 of the 6 we need. You only need 2 bleeding hearts to go along with this, and they can get what they want to do here, parliamentary style.
Humberto.
This could pass. You know, like, that's the thing. Like, you have all the noise on the street, and she is taking whatever's happening on the street into the Senate. You know what I mean? And this is the dangerous thing. This is when real changes happen. And they're all working together. You have the media working together. You have the guys in the street working together. And this is taking the action on the street to something tangible that could pass with the midterms coming around. You know who comes up for the midterms? The most radical from both sides. The most radical Republicans and the most radical Democrats. This will open up. This will open up new votes, and it's scary. And we should be paying attention to this, actually.
Rob, what is this? Government shutdown on Saturday?
Yeah, there's a calci on if the government's going to shut down. I believe the deadline is midnight Friday night, which means the shutdown will start Saturday morning.
This Friday night.
This Friday night.
And look how much money's in there.
79%, $8 million already, Rob?
Yes, sir.
Are you come on? That's what they want, and they're going to get it. 80%? 80%?
What's the date when it spikes? Can you go to the date of the spike?
Oh,
keep going. Boom, right there, 24th. So it went from what to what, Rob?
Went from 11.5% chance on Saturday up to 75% chance.
Oh my God!
That's when
overnight.
Alex was. That's when the nurse was shot.
Yes.
Oh,
overnight.
Weird.
Yep.
Overnight,
Nothing.
it goes up. You got to be 64% overnight. Government shutdown. And by the way, so you can't let a crisis go to waste. Here's what Newsom is talking about. Gavin Newsom launches vicious attack on president over death of armed anti-ICE protester. Trump made a shooting happen. Rob, do you have that clip of what he said yesterday? Hundreds of thousands filled the streets of Minnesota, marching in sub-zero temperatures in a peaceful protest, not the excuse to invoke the Insurrection Act the president wanted. So today, Trump made a shooting happen. The president must end his violent occupation of Minnesota now. Rob, do you have the clips of them protesting in the streets?
I'll grab one.
Tens of thousands of people. Vinny, what do you see? What do you think about when you're seeing Newsom saying what he's saying?
Well, he of all people, I think I mentioned it a little bit earlier, he's the front runner. He's the guy. Kalshi has him on that polling as he's the number one guy. There's only one reason he was the only governor to get flown to Davos to go there and do his presidential, run, even though they didn't give him the real talk, but he had the interview. This guy, California, is the exact example of what they want and how they want it to keep going, okay? Open the border, keep giving them all this, all the free stuff, and they're going to keep coming in. He's the epitome. He's the epitome of what's happening. And for all the stuff that's happening in his country, in his state, all the crime, I don't want to keep saying the R word, all the theft, all the homelessness, all the everything, he's their guy. And if we're going to keep going, Humberto, like you're talking about, on emotion and everything, and all the white liberal women who are the ones that are going to be voting that actually change the vote,
Don't forget angry.
Yeah, very angry.
This is the protesting? This is it?
I'm looking to verify the date on this, but it seems to be January 23rd. Yeah, January 23rd.
So before.
Weekend.
So go to the chat to see if Grok verified it already.
It did right here.
It did? Okay. Can we see it, Rob? Can you just play it to see what it looks like?
Ice out! Minnesota! Ice out! Ice out!
Jeez, get somebody that knows how to rhyme
Oh, he's
lyrics.
horrible. He's horrible. Here's my question for you. Besides the midterms, I think the midterms, the Democrats are going to take the midterms. Do you think this event, this moment in time, is going to last till 2028? This momentum that's going to hurt a Rubio or a J.D. Vance because they're going to be the front runners. That's the real question to me, because I believe I'm 1,000%. I don't say the future looks bright just because it's a cool. No, I truly believe it. Besides me being a Christian, because I know that's people like us and people like those stronger Republicans that are stepping up and speaking out. Do you think this is what is going to be their thing? They can't ride this wave for another 3 years. Renee Good, Alex Pretti. What is?
No, but remember the 13 rules for radicals, Rob. If you go back to it, they specifically say you have to move on if it gets stale.
Got you.
So remember, one of the rules, I thought it was number 6. Rob, go up a little bit, zoom in. It's hard to encounter.
Oh, right there.
Number 7.
Right there. Go. Which one is
7.
it?
7. A tactic that drags on too long becomes a drag.
So they will move on quick to the next thing. They can't.
This is their midterm thing, and the Cal Sheet thing just showed us this is their midterm thing.
Vinny, this didn't start. This is like phase 4. Like, remember L.A. 2 months ago? Like the riots and everything?
Yeah, but we forget about it.
Then it died down a little bit, and now it's Minnesota.
Yeah.
And then they just need to change the city, change the victim, and then move on and do it again and do it again and do it again.
Yeah. So, by the way, last clip here, and then I want to go to Jennings. Can you play the clip by Zoran Mamdani, Rob, on saying what happened here is inhumane and pledges to fight them in New York City? Go ahead.
Been horrified, as many people have, by what's been happening with ICE in Minneapolis. Do you worry that Donald Trump would try to do something similar here in New York City? And if he does, what do you do about it?
I think just to first take a moment about Minneapolis, it is horrific what we have seen there. And I think that there are too many Americans who are being asked to not believe their own eyes, not believe their own ears, not believe their own realities. And people want to hear the truth. They want to see the truth. And that's why I described that as a murder, because there's no other way to watch that video and come to a different conclusion. And we know that the fear that so many are living with in Minneapolis, it's a fear that New Yorkers are also living with, a fear of being terrorized. And I will do everything in my power to ensure that we do not see that take place in New York City. And I've also said clearly to the president that these ICE raids, they are cruel, they are inhumane, they do nothing to serve the interests of public safety.
You can pause it right there. By the way, this was made a few days before the shooting. So this is not post, this is before. And one of the announcements that Mamdani made, Rob, if you want to pull this up, Mamdani made an announcement that New York City will be offering free childcare to illegal immigrants. Okay, so Mamdani made this clip, and this went viral. This is probably 3-4 days ago when it went viral. If you want to play this clip, go for it, Rob.
These are programs for every single New Yorker. These are not programs that are going to ask the immigration status of any one of the children. All of those children are New Yorkers. They should all be enrolled in pre-K and 3K, no matter where they were born or where they come from. And we are also proud to be a
free child care for illegal immigrant families.
Can I ask you?
They are New Yorkers.
From a New Yorker, I hope if even one New Yorker listens to this, do you understand what he's saying? He's saying, bring your illegal kid, because who's attached to the illegal kid? The illegal father, the illegal mother. Get here. We will not only protect you and let you hopefully vote and do everything. The New York taxpayer is going to pay for it all. So as a New Yorker, what the hell are you doing? Pat, it boggles my mind. I can't, when you see that video as a New Yorker, what are you doing? The real deal New Yorkers that are busting their butts every day going to work, in the snow, with the drama, with the crime, and you're fine with that? I don't understand. All the young boomer, whatever, whoever the hell's voting, you're stupid. You're uneducated. You're uninformed. That is a freaking, that's saying, hey, just trust me. I don't give a damn about Trump. I don't care about the federal government. You come here, we're going to pay for you. We're going to pay for your kid. Tom, am I losing my mind?
No, you're not. And so it's all the things that he campaigned on, you have to look at what's needed right now. What's needed right now is emotional triggers.
Jeez.
And when he came out and people found out behind the curtain that, buses were going to be free or, cut in half on price, not the subway. And people are saying, why isn't the subway free? Why aren't we doing this? He had to explain his way around that, right?
Yeah.
And he doesn't have budget to keep the subway going unless they keep collecting fares. And the new subway turnstiles were being failed if you just hung a hoodie on one thing and then the thing popped open and all your friends walk through, grab your hoodie and go. So he doesn't have an emotional thing. Children. Childcare. Now it's an emotional issue where he is the benevolent dictator bringing emotion to the fore to be giving something for free, because give it to them for free, win their vote. That's the playbook. This is on brand and on time, giving the backdrop of what's happening elsewhere.
We need to pass a law. Like, the word free doesn't exist. It's taxpayer funded, all right? That nothing is free. Like, not the buses, not the childcare, no nothing. Like, I think we should pass a law in Congress and Senate to like every government official that uses the word free, it needs to be changed to taxpayer, because like it's very different. Because like, I don't know, like here in the Miami area, you have the STD testing ones. Have you seen them around the street? And it says free testing. And it's actually us paying for the testing.
You're right. Yeah.
It's us paying for the childcare. It's us paying for the buses.
Free condoms. No, nothing is free.
Free doesn't exist from the government.
Can you imagine, like, of all the things to upset you, free STD testing is what's upsetting Humberto? Honestly, pay it yourself.
I won't get into it, but there's moral reasons why it upsets me.
I get that, because you don't get the pleasure. So why are you
exactly
paying for somebody else's pleasure?
I get it.
Scientifically,
so they should all
it
die
makes
of
sense.
syphilis in jail like Al Capone.
Humberto's very, very interesting angle.
But free's not. It's never free.
You're right. It's a curse word, right? It's a manipulative word. It's the worst four-letter F word we have, right? If you think about it,
You're right.
It is the easiest way to manipulate people. And so Bill Maher is not too happy with Mamdani. Here's what Bill Maher had to say about Mamdani. So Bill is minding his own business, doing his own show, and then all of a sudden, boom. Here's Bill Maher on Mamdani. Go for it, Rob.
It matters that the mayor stands by, and I assume stands with, someone who says things like, if you don't believe in the government's sacred right to seize private property, it's over. Seize private property. Home ownership is racist. Elect more communists. Private property, especially home ownership, is a weapon of white supremacy. Really? Even among the 20 million black Americans who own their own home? I mean, these are the kind of utterances I might forgive as something a dumb white girl said while she was at Bryn Mawr. Because it's the kind of privilege hating you can only learn for $95,000 a year. But these are statements made as an adult. Yes, for co-eds from elite private colleges, you're only a lesbian until graduation, but the communism lasts a lifetime. Democrats seem to be having this debate whether or not Mayor Mamdani is a socialist or a democratic socialist. Let me settle it. He's a straight-up communist. How do I know this?
Look at the clapping. Good. Not that much. Nope. Pause it right there. By the way,
great point.
They pull up the clapping sign,
and
80%'s like, no, I'm not doing it.
Him.
I'm not doing it for this.
Tough crowd.
No, it's not a tough crowd.
No, it's a white liberal crowd in LA.
What I'm trying to say is, credit to him for saying this in front of a crowd that doesn't support him.
Heck yeah.
How many people clap? Go back, Rob, 5 seconds.
20%.
No, I think it's less. Go
15,
back.
10, 15%.
Go back and play it. Play it, Rob. Let's hear the clapping. How many clap?
Well,
what hand is that?
Go back.
Can you do me a favor? And is this HBO, Rob?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's find this out. When Bill Maher does his HBO show, how many people are usually in the audience?
100 to 150.
I want to know what the number is. It's about 100 to 150, right? That's the number? Have you been to it? You've been in front of Bill Maher?
Yeah.
It's about 100 to 150? Okay. So it says about 100. Okay.
Yeah.
Of the 100, how many clapped?
In that room?
Yeah.
10 max.
15.
Go back again, Rob.
Go
I
back.
really want to go back 10
Go
seconds. Go back 10 seconds. Keep going.
right
Okay, go
before
ahead.
he
Right
says
there.
cut.
That's good.
He's a straight-up communist. How do I know this?
10.
It's not 100.
No,
Well,
So
I'm
his own
reading
audience is not happy with him. Go ahead, keep playing it.
between the lines when one of his major advisors says, elect more communists, which is fine. It's fine. It's a belief system. He's allowed to believe it, and people are allowed to vote for it. But if liberals deny it, like he's just going through a goth phase, they're going to lose more elections. This is not a communist country. And this is the pendulum never lands in the middle problem I'm always bitching about. Really, the choices we get here are either the worst version of crony capitalism or communism, either a side deal for the Trump family every time he does business overseas, or the lady who says, impoverish the white middle class. Oh, yeah, there's a great campaign slogan for you. Honestly, as New York mayoral races go, I was less creeped out by Anthony Weiner's dick.
Well, I'll clap.
I'd be clapping.
Look at how fun. Oh,
What do you think about what he just said?
Pat, I'm spitting like this guy.
As a guy from, by the way, take 30 seconds. Tell the audience your background so they know where you're from.
No, I'm sitting. I'm sitting on the right all the time. That's why I'm spitting.
But where are you from? But go back a little bit. Who's Humberto?
Who's me? Well, I was born in Chile, grew up in Dubai under a monarchy, best system. Then came to school here. I like democracy better though. I came here, went to school here, and then I went back to Chile, ran out of eyeballs, and then I sent an email to Valutema. I was like, hey, there's not enough Chileans. Like, I need more eyeballs.
You applied to us from Chile?
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been hired.
Wow.
We have to find out who's behind
all right, well, welcome here. So now go back and tell your story of what you think about what Bill Maher said about...
This guy I love and hate at the same time. No, I'm telling you, scripted Bill Maher, he's the best. Like, I think he's funny, he's witty, scripted.
He is scripted.
But when he's on Club Random, I'm like, who is this guy? You know what I mean? Like, I don't miss the HBO show, but I can't watch his podcast. Like, I don't know if I'm alone here. But he has some funny jokes there.
Yeah, but you make a great point. You know why? Because he has over 10 to 15 writers writing that monologue, and at least they're
great delivery.
Adjusting,
He's
they're
very
adjusting
talented.
to the time though, because they're not. You think they're dumb? They're not watching the trends of mainstream media. You gotta play both sides. That's why he's tolerable and why the show keeps going. If he was just all anti-Trump, he went and sat with Trump. You think he really wanted to do that? Absolutely not.
It's a great show, Vinny.
No, by the way, if you think I sit there and watch that show, I just watch the clips like in moments like this. But at the end of the day, you heard what he said? It's either crony capitalism or that guy. Oh, really? Or what? Joe Biden? He doesn't mention Joe Biden. He doesn't mention Obama. He doesn't mention George Bush Jr., the freaking the war guy. Like, come on, man. It's like you're never going to get something perfect. Who do they want? They want a perfect candidate.
Well, maybe let's show some data because maybe Democrats are happy with Democrats. Here's a poll from Harry Enton. Rob, if you want to pull up. And, I mean, maybe this is going to prove us so wrong. It's going to be – we'll risk it. We'll play the clip and we'll risk it. I mean, this may be a bad situation here, but go ahead, Rob.
I'm sure they
what
love
is
themselves.
This poll? What do Democrats polls say about Democrats? Go ahead, Rob.
Take a look at how Democrats who disapprove of congressional Democratic leaders. Hello. We're talking about 57% in January of 2026, the second highest disapproval rate for Democratic leaders from their own party on record. It's only beat by what we saw earlier on in this Congress when it was 61%. There's basically been no improvement. Democrats hate their own congressional leaders. These numbers are awful.
Man, I thought it was going to be the other way around. That's why I said I'll risk it. But
that's three awfuls.
Why do you think that is, Tom? Why do you think that is?
Because guess what? The core, you look at the fringes and what Bill Maher was talking about, the fringe that got elected in New York City. And we're talking about the fringes. And the core has sensibility. Like we saw Bill Maher at his core speaking about what a lot of Americans feel. Oh, impoverish the white middle class. There's a campaign slogan. He's right. And now what you have here is the core of the Democrat Party does not like what they see. The core of the Democrats that are in Iowa, and there's a lot of Democrats in Iowa, I'd love to see what do Iowa Democrats think about AOC. You know what you're going to see? that.
Wow.
That's exactly what you're going to see.
So that's...
You want to go to outside suburban Chicago, people that have been Mayor Daley, legacy Democrats for many, many years, grew up in blue, but were not part of, protester things. Ask them what they think of AOC. Ask them what they think of Bernie. You know what you get? That. That's exactly what it is. There's a core that looks at it and goes, man, I don't like this. Just like there's a core on the moderate Republicans right now that don't like what they see in what they regard as, oh, this is military on the street, just picking people up, because they don't appreciate the difficulty of executing immigration reform and deporting people.
Vinny. So Humberto, you were going to say something.
We saw this happening, like to the richest man in the world. We saw Elon Musk, who was like dead center Democrat. And then over time, because of this radicals, because of this, now he's far right. Like they're shifting. They're shifting. Like exactly what Tom said. Like normal establishment guys that, they want more fair treatment of the middle class and they want to give in a little bit more. Those guys have been alienated by all these crazy communists. Like,
Rob, Humberto, is your wife also Chilean?
No.
She's what?
From a country that just got liberated.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Venezuela.
Yeah.
Okay.
She had a crazy story. It's a crazy, crazy story. But I just hope this translates to those voters. Because at the end of the day, what is it? We need those people, and I'm just being honest, to have the heart, like the Elons and all these people, to shift. Because the you know what the Democratic Party is basically like, guys? Like I like, this is the analogy in my head. They have a losing football team franchise. They're losing.
They're the Jets.
They're the Jets. The Democrats are the Jets. I'm ready for this. They're
J-E-T-S. Lose.
It's just over and over. And now they just found out, you ready for this? Their head coach is involved in cheating. And their quarterback is doing drugs. And there's a bunch of craziness. But as a Jets fan...
Meanwhile, the freaking Patriots rebuilt, and there they go again.
Yeah, but you ready for this? But as a Jets fan, this is the problem. They're not going to leave. Remember that video of that kid that they stopped him and he goes, I just hate being a Jet fan. But what am I going to do? The kid was...
My parents' fault.
It's their fault. So I think it's...
Nice little kid. He's got a Jet jersey. He's going there. His parents got him a ticket. You feel bad.
He's destroyed. Yeah. But you ready for this? You can't jump ship because you know how embarrassing it is? Everybody's going to make fun of you. Yeah. Everybody's going to come after you. So they're stuck. But I think the goal is to just common sense. Since I've came to valuetainment, you said this, one of the first things, common sense. If you can't see what's happening, take your budget. I'm very emotional. I'm an angry patriot. But I can have the common sense to take the emotion out of it, take a step back and go, why do they care so much about the illegals? Why do they care so much about LGBTQ? Why do they care about problems that 80% of America doesn't agree with? But they go off emotion, and it's switching the party. We need those people. We need the Elons. Donald Trump used to vote Democrat. We got Donald Trump. We got Elon Musk, Chamath. All these guys are leaving. Trillions of dollars are leaving California because they're waking up. I love this stat because Tommy made a great point. It's the voters. It's the people that are actually, it's the money that care about the country. That's a great freaking stat, and I hope it keeps going higher.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if it's going to continue or not because, this is good with CNN showing this, but how will this translate in November is what's going to matter. How will it translate in November? There's something going on right now that it's problematic. This is 2 years in a row, back to back. China's leaders are being accused of leaking secrets. Did you see this one story, Tom?
I did.
Okay, so check this out.
Yes.
China's top general.
The general?
Yeah, accused of giving nuclear secrets to the U.S. Rob, do you have the clip on that?
Yes.
Go
Great
for
haircut, by the way.
China's most senior general is under investigation, its defense ministry said on Saturday, in what is Beijing's highest profile purge of the top brass to date. Zhang Youxia is being probed over suspected serious violation of discipline and law, the ministry said. He has not been seen in public since November, when he held talks with Russia's defense minister in Moscow. The veteran modernizer was widely seen as President Xi Jinping's closest military ally. The 75-year-old was Xi's second in command, as vice chairman of the Central Military Commission. Foreign diplomats and security analysts are watching developments closely, given Zhang's closeness to Xi. His removal may also impact the Commission's work in terms of command, as well as the People Liberation Army's ongoing military modernization and posture. The military was one of the main targets of a broad corruption crackdown ordered by Xi in 2012. 8 top generals were expelled from the ruling Communist Party on graft charges in 2025. The ministry on Saturday said Liu Zhenli, chief of staff of the commission's Joint Staff Department, was also under investigation.
Okay, you can pause it right there.
He's gone. By the way, they haven't seen him since November. He's gone. He is not giving secrets to us.
Why is this a pattern, though? This happened 2 years in a row now, Tom. Where are you at with this?
Well, I'll tell you, spying works both ways, number one. And then number two, people have said for a long time that military leaders in China are not like the military leaders in Germany. What was the thing? We were just following orders when they were put on trial. Remember, I was just following orders, and they're looking at it. And there are military leaders in China that have been said that are disgusted with how people are really being treated. And every now and then, we've got spies over there. We've got things that we do over there. I mean, they're sending, honeypots over here for Eric Swalwell. I'm sure the CIA knows how to send an OnlyFans girl or two over to China. It's the same thing. I'm not making a joke.
No, I'm saying, you're right.
It's men's weakness, and so combination of they actually are disgusted by what they see as treatment of their people, number one, and number two, they're as susceptible to spying and to techniques as everybody else, and then they sit there and think, well, we're never really going to have a nuclear war, we're not going to launch these at each other, and I'll get a little bit of money or I'll get a little bit of this and I'll just go ahead and do it. Well, what happens is now, why does China announce it is the bigger one. Why doesn't China just keep this under wraps?
That's a good question.
You see? It's because what they're about to do to this guy, they want everybody else in the military to know it went down. That's what they want. Otherwise, they would hide this. China never shows weakness. They lie about economic stats so that they don't show weakness. The only way they do this with this woman's voice and everything to let everybody else in the military know what's about to go down.
Now,
Humberto, where are you at?
Not everybody speaks Chinese. There's different layers. Like they can make an example out of someone and keep it inside of China. I think this can be a little bit of noise. We caught 3 spies in the last year, like 3 Chinese
agriculture
terrorists being inspired. Like so,
the 2 in Minnesota with the
poisons
in Minnesota.
And the that's how that's how it works. It's tit for tat.
It's a terrible year for Timberwolves. I mean, it's like
a terrible year. But what I was gonna get at is that they're in big trouble. We've been covering like their aging population. That was the biggest strength of China. Like they gave the world this idea of like unlimited population growth that they're going to take over by making babies. Then the second thing, you have a debt-driven.
They only have one.
They only have one, or less than one. Then you have an economy that is collapsing. Like if you see their housing market and the debt they have taken in the last few years and how it's exploding in their face, it's unbelievable.
Ghost cities and actually tearing down giant apartment buildings.
They call them tofu buildings. And then you have a very rigid, that Xi Jinping is doing. He has centralized all the power into one guy. You know what I mean? So you have a very rigid structure and a very rigid like how it's commanded. So I don't know. This is not looking good. I think they're trying to like divert attention from something else that's going on there.
Well, what this is leading to is over the weekend, Trump threatens 100% tariff on Canada if it makes a deal with China, and Carney pushes back. But let me read the first one first. If Governor Carney
gotta love the guy
of the 51st state, Canada, thinks he is going to make Canada a drop-off port for China to send goods and products into the U.S., he is sorely mistaken. China will eat Canada alive, completely devour it, including the destruction of their businesses, social fabric, and general way of life. If Canada makes a deal with China, it will immediately be hit with 100% tariff against all Canadian goods and products coming into the U.S. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. Rob, can you pull up the clip of Carney responding to this? Because obviously, if you remember, it looked like him and Carney were getting along because he chose Carney over Pierre Poilievre when Pierre lacked diplomacy. Everybody saw that when he would only eat the apple and not go meet with people. And here's Carney responding to the president.
How are you responding to Trump's threats about 100% tariffs?
Well, the first thing is that
Yeah, Canada respects our engagements, our commitments. Il y a des engagements dans l'ACM. We have commitments under CUSMA that not to pursue free trade agreements with non-market economies without prior notification. We have no intention of doing that with China or any other non-market economy. What we've done with China is to rectify some issues that developed in the last couple of years. In many respects, we're going, to use the expression, back to the future with respect to EVs, with respect to agriculture, with respect to fish products and other food products, but with additional protections. So, for example, back in 2023, we didn't have a cap on the number of EVs. We didn't have a requirement for a large proportion of those EVs to be affordable, highly affordable EVs for Canadians. So it's entirely consistent with CUSMA, with our obligations, which we very much
pause it right
respect.
there. Tom, what's going on here?
So let me translate that for you. China got Canada to agree to take BYD, which is the largest EV maker in the world by number of units, and to send over their $30,000 EVs, which is not going to be good for Tesla. But what Mark Carney is doing there is dancing around a simple truth. He went back and renegotiated with China, which he feels is a trade deal that's good for Canada, and that's how he's spinning it. Meanwhile, President Trump is pointing out that the $2.3 trillion economy of Canada, which is less than half of California, that, by the way, Rob, I don't know if you can find this in a flash. I didn't tell you. I believe, Pat, 21% of their GDP is what they import from us, and 17% of their GDP is what they export to us. So I think it's 36% of Canada's 2.3 trillion GDP depends on trade with the United States. So there it is. Imports from the U.S. constitute 19% of Canada's GDP. So it's like you're making a deal with China that Trump is trying to work with right now and corner, and yet 1/3 of your GDP depends on back and forth trade with the United States. Are you high? Do you not think that Trump's going to go, wait, what's he doing? Sir, he made some sort of conciliation deal with China, and he's going to take the low-cost EVs over into, what about General Motors EVs? What about Tesla EVs? Well, it's going to hurt them because they're bringing over the China car. And he says, what the hell is on his mind? Hang on, where's my phone? So it's like, and then here comes Trump. Governor Carney does it again. That's what's going on. He cut a deal with China when Trump's trying to corner China.
Humberto.
Let's trade Alberta for Minnesota. All right, that's what that's the only trade that we need.
Straight up.
Straight up. Let's try it. We grab Alberta, they keep Minnesota, and we're even. I sent Rob a chart, and I got this from Tom, like to show, like, can you please try to find Canada on this map?
Let me look.
All right.
I can't.
Actually find Canada,
Oh my
Rob.
God.
Where is it?
It has to be really small.
There it is, up at the top at 12 o'clock.
Top, right there.
All right, 12
And by the way,
o'clock.
United States last year
above USA, Mexico.
that has grown. Canada's 2.3 and the United States is 31.
So what are we talking about? All right, like Trump said it. Like, Canada depends on the U.S. They're nothing without us, and they're trying to play ball and get Chinese cars to their borders. Like, I don't know. Like, I think they look a lot bigger than they actually are. They shouldn't be even sitting at the table, probably banned from Canada already. But it's not a good look at all.
But look at it from the position of China. Right, I was about to say Taiwan. If you look at the position of, and it's exactly where I was going. If you look at the position from China, China's probably sitting there saying, "Wait a minute, who's Canada to us? Taiwan.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you building relationships with them?" The U.S. is like, "Because we can." He said, "Well, I'm going to do business with Canada." And U.S. is like, "No, you can't." And China says, "Why can't I?" And U.S. says, "Because Taiwan is a very different relationship. You're just trying to get to Canada to disrupt our relationship." And in this sense, you know, if Carney decides to play ball with China, which it looks like he's fallen for, U.S. offers security, protection. U.S. offers so many different things. You know, Canada is safe by association. You know, it's like going to a nightclub with the toughest guy in the street thinking you're tough. You're not tough. You're safe because you went to the club with the toughest guy on the street. Go to that same club in the hood without that tough guy. You walk in a very different way. Make sense? That tough guy is America.
Yeah.
When you walk, it's like, hey, what's up? Yeah. And so what are you going to do? It's like, well, what are you what are you going to say something?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, America leaves. Hi, how are you? How's everything? Family's good. How's your daughter doing? You didn't care about my daughter last year. Now you do? Yeah, I really do. I always did.
Yeah,
no,
we
you
saw your
didn't.
buddy leave. He didn't go to the bathroom. He left.
Yes. So I get what Trump is doing here. Man, my only thing is, let me tell you what my only concern. My only thing is, does he have enough time left to negotiate this aggressively? Does he have enough time left to continue negotiating this aggressively? I don't know. It's either he's got 10 months or he's got what? What's the other one? 34 months.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he's got left. 10 months or 34 months. Who knows what happens afterwards? Can you really get everything he wants to get done in the next 10 months or 34 months? Do you think he can? In the next 10 months or 34 months?
I believe in him.
You believe they can get everything done in the next 10 months or 34 months? Tom, what do you think?
No, I think we've now entered into the window of certain international parties are going to stall because now they're saying, hang tight. All you have to do is get through the American summer because then this guy's going to have trouble in the midterms and then he's going to have to do different things on trade. I think that the China and others may be about to play that. I think he can get 40% of it, 50% of it done, Pat. But there's a couple big things I think are going to be really tough to get done before the midterms. And after the midterms, if they're too nasty, it makes it more difficult.
I agree. By the way, Rob, you ran a very good poll. If you can pull it up, you got 2,000 votes already. I think it's a good sample to look at. Rob ran a poll saying who needs who more. Canada needs the U.S. The U.S. needs Canada. They both need each other. Neither needs the other. Ready? 77% said Canada needs the U.S. 3% says the U.S. need Canada. 15% said they need each other. And 5% said neither needs each other, okay? It's pretty wild when you look at that because if you take out the last two options, they both need or neither needs, and you just take the top two, it would end up being around 96.5 to 3.5%. 96.5 Canada needs U.S., 3.5% U.S. needs Canada. Carney better kind of sit down and figure out how to negotiate with this guy in the U.S., or else, this is just going to keep getting. By the way, look at what happened to it. It just went to 78.3. Wow. This is not looking pretty for Canada.
When it comes to the moves that we've seen Trump doing on defense, like we're talking about the Golden Dome, all right? Does Canada want to be outside the Golden Dome?
Protecting your family, your country
for free.
For free.
We're talking about Greenland.
For free,
Trump is not messing around the Arctic, Pat. Yep. And he's going to do everything that is in his power. This national defense.
And Canada needs great leadership. That's what Canada needs. You're talking about a country that has a GDP that is bigger than Russia. And you're talking about something that by comparison is small. But we have this robust trading partner. They need better leadership. There is a reason after those truckers were stopped there that when you're talking about trading Alberta, Albertans were saying, trade us. Albertans were saying, hey, you know what? We'll be ultra North Texas. Let's make a swap and let's, and they weren't aware of what's going on in Minnesota, but Minnesota can go into the I've lost my mind Quebecois division and do it. But you have to remember, there's a country up there that's got a lot of conservative people that are in
wonderful
Alberta in particular, and they have built a GDP bigger than Canada. But right now, they've got terrible leadership. And the last election, you think we were in pain about our choices. Yep. They were in pain going, can you imagine the people that were moderate and conservative going, is Poilievre actually going to blow this? I can't believe this.
He did. It's one of the worst ever in the history of mankind, at least in our lifetime, with what he did. And honestly, I don't want to go and give him a hard time about it, but he's probably one of the...
We would never do that.
No, not right now. I don't want to do that. But, a guy connects me from Canada. And he doesn't want to leave Canada. He loves Canada. But he says, Pat, you have to realize in Canada, this is the fear people have in Canada. You can't say anything pro about Canada. God forbid you say anything pro about Canada, you won't even believe what happens to it. You say anything pro about Trump in Canada. Well, you know, Trump's got a good point. Trump's got this. Trump's got that. Until they get over that fear of the values and principles, being comfortable talking about maybe Trump is right about a couple things. Until they do that, they're going to continue living on this socialistic, whatever regime you want to talk about in Canada. And by the way, some of the best people in the world, if you want to go have conversation, they're funny, they're loud, they're cool to be around, they're tough in their own way. You know, they're, and by the way, just so you know, good luck walking around anywhere here without running into Canadians. I'll get next from guys will say, Pat, I just moved from Toronto to Fort Lauderdale. How do I make friends here? I'm trying to find some, I got a family, I got kids, I'm a businessman, I'm this, I'm that. I said, connect me. I'll introduce you to the boardroom. We'll become a member. You'll make friends. And it happens all the flipping time here. All right, let's continue. Let me get to the next story here. Next story I want to get to is Scott Jennings. And I know I'm going back to one of the stories, but I have to show you this because there's two clips I want to show. This is the fear porn that you have to be thinking about. Scott Jennings has to explain to CNN why immigration enforcement officers run smoothly in other states but not in Minnesota. Watch this exchange here, folks. This is Scott does a clinic. Go for it.
On this new reporting that we just heard from our Kristen Holmes at the White House, that President Trump is frustrated with the messaging around his immigration efforts and wants to change the narrative. How do you see it?
Well, I'd be frustrated, too, if I were faced with this wall of propaganda every single day, and if I were faced with these recalcitrant Democrats in Minnesota who simply won't cooperate with the federal government. All over this country, states and cities all over the country, you have cooperation going on between the locals and the federal government. You don't see any chaos. You see very orderly transitions of illegal aliens into federal custody. They go into deportation. It works just fine. The only difference in Minnesota is you have Walz and Fry and Flanagan and the rest of these local Democrats who don't want to cooperate. They think that Minnesota somehow should exist in, I guess, some state of secession where federal laws don't apply to people inside the state of Minnesota. It is causing chaos, and if I were the president, I would be frustrated about that too because, you know, narratives aside, he's the chief law enforcement officer of the United States, and he has to enforce the law in all 50 states.
Bingo. Bingo. Very simple. Go ahead. Cooperate. Simplify. Let's work as a team. But watch this. Jake Tapper has a guest on that's selling fear porn at the highest level. Folks, just letting you know, even Jake had to stop this guy. I don't know if he fully does or not. Rob, you know which clip I'm talking about?
Yep.
So
even Jake was stunned.
Say that again? Yeah, Jake Tapper stunned as Minnesota business owner suggests ICE agents could start putting people in ovens.
This is you're joking. This is not.
No. You have to. Rob,
AI.
is this the clip?
Yes, sir. Hang on.
And is this from? Is this from? What do you call it? From the last 48 hours?
This is the Rumble. It's on Rumble.
It's on Rumble. I'm trying to get it up, but I have two ads that I have to play. But yes, I believe this was from this.
All right, let me see if I can't. If it's going to be a long time, Rob, we'll skip to a different story because if it's not in a different place, I'll go to a different story until this one freshens up, and we'll come back to it. So next story I want to get to is this. Okay, Trump skips Super Bowl in California, criticizes performers Bad Bunny and Green Day. Now, if you watch this closely with Bad Bunny and Green Day, apparently Bad Bunny is supposed to be performing in a dress, which I think he changed his mind, that he's now not wearing a dress, okay? Allegedly. We don't know that.
We don't know.
He can still come up and surprise and wear a dress,
He probably
okay?
will.
So will dress to impress at Super Bowl, but won't wear a dress. Nobody knows. He could be playing games. President Trump's on Saturday. He's going to be skipping next month's Super Bowl, slamming the halftime performers and griping that the California game has gone too far. Trump, who attended last year's game between Philadelphia Eagles and the Chiefs in New Orleans, told the Post, "It's just too far away. I've gotten great hands at the Super Bowl. They like me. This year's Super Bowl will be held at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California." He added, "I would go if it was a little bit shorter." The president slammed the NFL for choosing Bad Bunny and Green Day. President also openly critical of headline performer Bad Bunny since he was chosen for last year's performance during the halftime show. "I don't know who he is," Trump told Newsmax. "I don't know why they're doing it. It's crazy." And then they blame it on some promoter they hired to pick up entertainment. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Rock band Green Day was also selected in the last week to play before the kickoff. Bad Bunny and Green Day frontman Billy Joe Armstrong are both liberal performers who have been vocal about their dislike of Trump. So, Tom, why do you think they're doing this? Why is this such a big deal? Or is it? Maybe it's not.
Well, let's look at the NFL. The NFL hired somebody, and I think can you help me out, Vinny? I thought it was Jay-Z that they did hire a music industry producer to bring them the halftime show, and they want to reach new and younger audiences.
I think you're right.
That's right. Bruce Springsteen's not doing it. Billy Joel's not doing it. You know, what's left of, it was Jay-Z. Jay-Z and Rock Nation partnered with the NFL to produce a halftime show. So the NFL says, hey, bring us more different consumers, bring us a younger audience. To me, Pat, that is a rational move by the NFL. But now the NFL is hiding behind the controversy because, you know, performers being performers, musicians being musicians, liberals being liberals are now saying things about it. And just a couple weeks ago at the college football championship game between University of Miami and Indiana, when Trump showed up, the place came down. They cheered for Trump. They loved him there. And so Trump's saying, yeah, I don't think I want to go here if you're going to have people that are like this and doing this, and it's a long way out there. But the real issue is the NFL wanted to get more viewers, Pat. Pat, you run businesses. And if you told marketing, hey, we need to open up a little bit to make sure that all of our products get to people that are going to buy them. And they came back and they were way on the edges and they were advertising in communist China, you would have been like, excuse me? You did what? Well, you said get more consumers. Yeah, but this is completely controversial, and this is not what we want. That's what the NFL is right now. They're on this island having to blame the promoter, and that's what they're doing in a very gentle way. Well, we turned it over to a promoter. We asked them to bring us new and younger audiences for the NFL, and gosh, we find ourselves in the middle of this, but you know what? You know, we really trusted the promoter to put together a halftime show, and our past several years have been, you know, award-winning, very recognized, great shows, and now we got this little controversy. That's what they're doing.
Vinny.
I think good choice on the president. If he doesn't want to go, he doesn't want to go. He went to the National Football game. Why? Where was the game played?
Here at the Hard Rock Stadium.
Here in Florida.
He went to Navy and
he went to Navy. He by the way, people that come and support us because they believe in the vision, they believe in you, they believe in what the mission is at Valuetainment, they support us. Why would you go support the NFL for anything? This is the same NFL that had end racism in the end zones, the biggest, woke freaking thing that they had. They have kneeling with Colin Kaepernick, who to me was stoking and promoting all this freaking
all kinds of teams kneel, defund the police,
defund the police, and the racism. Then you have Green Day, who is just the most they go on concerts and they go up there and they make it political, and it's like, bro, you're 50 years old and you're coloring your hair green. And then you have a cross-dressing Latino who during a Yankees game sat purposely for God Bless America. So why would the president want to go and support that? And when he says he doesn't know who Bad Bunny is, good for him. I mean, I've heard Bad Bunny songs. I don't follow him. I don't care. I think it's a good move to send a message that says, hey, listen, if you guys want to be anti-America and all this pushing division, I'm not going to go and support it.
Decisions have
I got a
consequences.
crazy question for you guys. And here's what the question is. You ready? Since 1967, which presidents, don't look it up, Rob, you can on your own, since 1967, no, don't do it while there because I'll look at it. Since 1967, which U.S. presidents are the only ones that were a sitting president that went to the Super Bowl game?
That did?
That went. Which presidents are the only ones that were sitting president since 67? We're talking 59 years. Which are the only U.S. presidents to have ever gone to a Super Bowl that were sitting president?
There's more than one.
Was it Trump?
I think it's a very small number. They used to make a phone call to the winning coach.
Who do you think it is?
Trump for sure.
Who are the only ones? Okay, who else?
George Bush.
Who else?
I don't think Bill Slick Willie went.
Who else? Who else, Tom? You're a sports guy.
I'm going to go with W and first term Trump.
The only president that has ever gone to the Super Bowl that was a sitting president since 1967 is Donald J. Trump.
Weird.
So
Only
one.
No other president have ever. Rob, what is the other one? Did you fact check this to see who else it is? Sitting. Sitting president. Were they sitting? Bush was one of them?
It says in 2006 he attended. So, yeah, he was in office at that time.
So you got only two of them? So you got two of them.
Bush,
so Bush and
Trump
are the only ones that ever attended.
And where did Donald Trump attend?
Rob, can you ask that question from ChatGPT as well? See what
Minneapolis.
ChatGPT tells you? Ask the same question from Grok and ChatGPT. Isn't it wild that him not going, the market is a little bit surprised because he goes to everything?
It's not surprising. It's a great statement. Like, this is my first season that I watch a full season of football. Tremendous. Best thing to do on Sunday. I love it. And having this guy.
See, Rob, ChatGPT says not to Bush.
Yep.
And so does Grok. Grok also says not a sitting president. But Google says.
So Trump is the only sitting.
Sitting. He's the only sitting president.
Ronald Reagan did the coin toss
but it was
by
a
satellite.
remote coin toss.
Yeah.
It was on Zoom back in the 80s.
All right.
I mean,
well, that's
there was no Zoom, but.
80s Zoom.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so it was Trump.
Go ahead, Humberto. We're going to say something.
No, I was going to say, first of all, this is a great statement. I think Bad Bunny, I give Green Day a little bit of a pass because at least they're Canadian or they're American.
Are they Canadian? Don't make it worse
Well,
for me.
don't
They're
make it worse.
liberal
That would make it
Canadians
better.
But
bashing the country.
To the point is,
Where are these freaks
Bad
from?
Bunny, when he got
Oh,
started.
they're from California. Rodeo.
Rodeo.
Okay.
Well,
You have- they
all right,
always
so
sound
I
like they're
give them, I
congested.
give them a little bit of a pass for being critical. Bad Bunny doesn't speak the language. He's just trying to be political. And this relates to the first
Rob, you
story
good?
that we covered, all right?
Rob's putting his pants on. Bob, what are you doing over
All
there?
right.
okay,
Sorry,
Rob?
I had to adjust.
This relates to the first story that we covered with Minnesota. If you think that the left is playing chess, you're wrong, all right? They're playing Go. Have you guys ever played Go?
No.
It's about
Goat or Go?
Go.
G-
Oh, I
The
thought you said
Chinese game.
goat.
Chinese.
It's a religious game. But go ahead. You're saying.
Yeah, the Chinese game
Yeah.
is about using spaces on the board.
Yeah.
All right. Spaces could be a protest in Minnesota, or it could be having Bad Bunny dressed as a woman on the halftime show. In my personal opinion, we need Creed. That's all we need. Creed and Metallica. That'll be. That's it.
I've heard her.
Everyone would love that
You
show.
I
Voice
totally.
today.
Okay, you know what I do think? I think he's gonna rip something off and have a dress on, Bad Bunny. But I'm telling you right now, if Green Day says a political or wears a shirt that's like anti-Trump or whatever, I'm never gonna watch the NFL again. Because I didn't watch any football. I barely watch any of it. If they do something stupid like that, I'm not watching.
They will
Do you
it,
watch the Jets
100%.
still?
I haven't watched. I don't watch. I'm a Giants fan.
'cause
So
that's not-
I won my Super Bowl.
That's actually
I have
not
4.
quite NFL anymore. So
You do have a point. Well, I'm a Giants
So
fan.
let me tell you, yesterday, but I don't want to get sidetracked. All of a sudden, I got caught watching the story of this Benson. What's his name? Benson something. The singer. What's his last name? Benson Boone. What a freaking voice! This kid who's an 18-year-old kid learns to sing. He goes to American Idol, performs the song, drops out, comes out, puts the song out that goes viral. What's the big song that he has, Rob? Beautiful something. What is it
Beautiful
called?
Things?
Beautiful things. Oh my God! This guy. Do you know this guy or no?
I've heard.
What
I've heard
an
of him, but I'm not a.
an incredible performer. He does the backflips. Anyways, yesterday we're watching. Me, Senna, Tico, Dylan are sitting watching this guy perform. His song is actually, the lyrics are a powerful song. The way he, I think you would actually like the song. I'll text it to you afterwards.
Okay.
All right, let's not get distracted. Let's stay focused, everybody. Stay focused on what's going on. Next story I want to get to is Iran. Iran's supreme leader retreats underground, warned of likelihood of U.S. airstrikes. Rob, if you want to go to this, page 9. Folks, if you're watching this, you want our stories, just go to the Minneapolis Circle to get all the stories so you can follow with us. You'll get all the notes every single week if you want to follow the notes that we're looking at. So, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has gone underground, reportedly hiding out in a bunker out of fear of being wiped out by the U.S. airstrikes as the USS Abraham Lincoln steams towards Persian Gulf. The 86-year-old supreme leader has moved to a fortified shelter in Tehran connected to a series of elaborate underground tunnels after senior military officials warned of the increasing likelihood of an imminent U.S. attack. Iran International reported Khamenei has left his youngest son, Masoud Khamenei, 53, in charge of running the day-to-day management of the Islamic Republic. Masoud Khamenei emergency duties include being the primary communication channel with the regime's executive branch. Iran has deemed the likelihood of the U.S. airstrikes to be high after President Trump announced that warships were headed that way. So that's one story. All of a sudden, major airlines cancel flights to the Middle East with possible of U.S. airstrikes. Then Iran, the senior Iran official says Iran will treat any attack as an all-out war, is what he announces. Rob, do you have that clip as well? Senior Iranian official stated that Iran will treat any attack as an all-out war against us on Friday ahead of the arrival of the U.S. military aircraft, strike group, and other assets in the Middle East region, which is expected to be in the coming days. This military buildup, we hope, it is not intended for real confrontation, but our military is ready for the worst-case scenario. This is why everything is on high alert in Iran, said the senior Iranian official, speaking on condition of anonymity. This time we will retreat. We will treat any attack, limited, unlimited, surgical, kinetic, whatever they call it, as an all-out war against us, and we will respond in the hardest way possible to settle this. U.S. President Trump stated that his administration was watching Iran very closely. Humberto, what do you think is going to happen here?
I think this is not a defining moment right now. And I think it's very, because, I think it's good for the regime that they have an excuse to go on hiding. My guess, and I'm thinking this from the perspective, everyone's talking about the regime and they're talking about the U.S. influence, but this revolution is about the economy, all right? We saw over the last year the reports of 42% inflation, low energy production, running out of water, and those reasons by themselves, Pat, like just economical reasons, they're enough to topple a government. You know what I mean? We've seen that President Trump, he's been very careful, with his actions, very tactical with his actions in Iran. I'm not calling him bluff. I think he will act when time is ready. But them pushing the narrative that the attack is imminent, it gives them safe passage to finally get out. Because if Trump doesn't get them, eventually the people of Iran will get them. And I'm not advocating for any regime change or anything of that nature. But if you get your savings wiped out with a 48% inflation, you get half of whatever you had, you get it cut in half, you're gonna revolt. That's basically my opinion on it.
Yeah, so this Saturday we had the podcast with the two Iranians, Amir and Dr. Kangorlu. And the doctor, who's a nuclear physicist, he said something very interesting. He said, this is the first time in the history of the world. Rob, can you look this up? I don't think we did this. If you want to search, when is the last time in history that a religious revolution and an economical revolution was taking place at the same time in the same country? It happened two separate times. He was saying that Iran is the first country ever in the history to have two different types of revolutions taking place at the same time. One is economic, one is religious, meaning one, economy, it's horrible, they're not making money, they can't take care of their families. Two, they are sick and tired of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, of what it's doing to it. Okay, and so if you watch this, the most recent one that was close to both, they're saying 79, Khamenei, but the other way around, religious and Islamic, and then the one that's happening right now. This isn't pretty what's going on in Iran today. It's not. And at any point, anything can happen. It's so unpredictable for us that when you look at this, Tom, from the standpoint, I'm curious to know what you'll say about this. If you had to have if you yourself, you have your Tom Kalshi, without looking at Kalshi, Tom's Kalshi, what's the split on whether U.S. will attack, cause some mayhem in Iran versus two, nothing happens during Trump's term?
So I think we've hit 50-50.
That something could happen?
That there will be some sort of strike against military, radar, or what they call distant defense proxies. I think we're going there. It really spooked me over the weekend because the Department of Defense around the world can use simple air traffic control messages. And so even the airlines don't know what's up. But they cancel their flights because they're told there are no longer landing clearances where you're going. Like you're going from Greece to Tel Aviv, you're going from Rome to Cairo, or whatever those are, those routes. And all of a sudden you're saying, hey, we have an ATC hold, because federal governments have the ability to get in there and put those. So you saw, remember over the weekend, all of a sudden we saw all these flights are canceled. Well, the airlines are like, why are they canceling them? They're canceling them because they are not permitted to leave or fly. And the airlines may not know the reason. There could be heavy weather and ice in Boston, and they get ATC. It says, hey, we can't release you to Boston. And then they look it up. Oh, man, they're getting ice. It must be the ice up there. I can't fly. This happened to us. So I felt like, wow, somebody has pushed the get out of the way button. And that made me nervous because it's like, okay, are we going to fly over and hit some installations? So I thought we were like 75% likely that something was going to happen over the weekend, Pat, not in the city center, not to the palace, but hit a bunch of military installations and fly home and then call back and say, do I have your attention? You know, that's kind of what I thought. So my Kalshi is I'm 50-50 on we execute a strike before the end of the year. And I'm more than 50-50 that like September to Christmas, there's an actual leadership change. Because I don't think they can keep a lid on this with the people, what they're going through. I believe the Iranian people know that there is just one shot here, and this is the first shot in 47 years. And it may be that they have to pull back a little bit to go forward, but this is their only shot.
I think it's more. I think it's way more than 50%. I think with all the signs are showing that they need the help, and Trump wants to help. I think he's biding his time. Every time we think he's going to do something, he waits, and then a week later we're like, oh my God, now this is the time. Because at the end of the day, Humberto, I think my personal opinion is once everything was ready to go, once they met with Reza Pahlavi and everything, and he realized. Remember when what did Trump say? Yeah, he's not the guy for the job or
but
something.
He's a nice guy.
No, yeah, he's a nice guy. Pat called him a sweet guy, which he is. But when you don't listen to me, if you're gonna go and help Humberto, and you're gonna go really, really try to help these people, you know what I mean? Because they're freaking dying by the thousands. If they don't have somebody that's going to lead them, what's going to happen? What do you do?
That's the thing. Like the Trump administration, the guys they have there, they're incredibly smart. Like, for example, when they took out Maduro and they kept half of the regime in Venezuela.
Yes.
It was for a reason, you know. It was so they know how healthcare works, how to give pensions out, how the oil industry works. You know what I mean? He's very measured, and there's some tremendous guys in there, and they're trying to find a solution. This is not a straight solution. You're gonna have to keep some of the regime in there.
Of course, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can't just like bomb it flat.
No,
so,
yeah, but I don't think they're going to bomb it flat.
And I don't think they can take any more pressure. Like, it breaks my heart to hear all this beautiful Iranian people protesting that they're getting killed. So, like, I think we need to pull down the pressure. They need to find a solution and strike whatever it is. If it's military, if it's sanctions. But I think they're going to put a plan in place.
But here's my question, though, Tom.
Haven't we kind of done... I agree with you to a point, Humberto, but haven't we done sanctions? I mean, unpack what you're saying. We've been sanctioning them quite a bit. Right now, was it Russia and Iran can't get oil into Europe, basically? Less than 2% of the oil coming into Europe is Russia or Iran contraband being smuggled in. So we've had these big sanctions. What now?
They're slowly working, Tom. Like, for the economy to go in the gutter, like, sanctions were a big part of it. Like, it's not as fast as striking with missiles, but they do work in the long run. You know what I mean?
But how long are these? How many more? Let's say it's at 20. I'm going to go low-ish. 20,000 civilians are dead in the street because they on their own said enough is enough. How long are we going to leave? Because this happened the last time. They're fighting, and the voice, and then it just dies out. And then everybody forgets about Iran and then goes on to something else. Now they're really going for it. They're really like, hey, we're out here. We need some support. And nothing. You don't have a leader. You don't have anybody that's going to stand up. Guys, one person that's going to say, I'm going to do it. Yes, everybody's here in Washington. I'm going to go there. I'm going to sacrifice because they need somebody, bro.
Mr. President, Trump. 3 weeks ago, you said you had our back.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. We went for it. Now, where are you guys at? That's like he was talking about earlier. You go in there, you start the fight, like, yeah, we're good. And you turn around and your backup isn't there. It's like, bro, and they're not backing down. Those people are still getting killed. And what, those 12 to 15,000 that are captured, what do you think the IRGC is doing to them in the jails if they're still alive?
Killing
everybody. You think they're all dead. They're all dead. God rest their souls. They need the help. I think Trump is strategic. It's gonna happen. But me personally, I know what everybody's gonna say. Oh, we're war. They need help. It has to be sooner than later.
Some kind of help. We don't know what kind of help. You know what I mean?
It needs to be something, bro. How many more people are gonna die?
There needs to be something.
What do you think, Pat?
You know, I'm going back to thinking about what the difference is between Khomeini coming back in and Reza Pahlavi. Is if I'm U.S., what am I thinking about? What is the DNA of Venezuela versus Iran? So imagine you're the president, okay? You didn't study Iran history. You didn't study Venezuelan history. You studied the streets of New York, negotiation, tough games, manipulation, all that stuff. Yeah. Roy Cohen, the University of Roy Cohen, right? Never give up, never surrender, never this, never that, always blame, always take every victory, whatever happens, yes. Okay, so here's a question. I'm getting briefing. Now I'm sitting there with my 7 guys that are in front of me, and gals, whoever the people are. And I ask, what's the difference between the people in Venezuela and the people in Iran? So if we topple the regime in Venezuela versus Iran, what is the difference? Is the military in Venezuela 100% Maduro? Is the military in Iran 100% IRGC? What is the difference? Whose support does Edmundo Gonzalez have? Whose support does Maria Corina Machado have? What's the point? The point is, if we know a portion of the Venezuelan military is going to side with a new leader, we have something to work on, right? We have something that we can help. If we look at Iran, when Khomeini first came in, there was some military guys under the Shah that flipped and went towards him on the Air Force. There were some that supported him. If Reza Pahlavi has some of the guys on the military that are, flipping and wanting to support, that needs to be public. Because me as the president, let's just say all of a sudden 30,000 military soldiers came out in the street saying, I was a former this, I am now pro-Reza Pahlavi. You think Trump would have an easier decision to make? Yes. That's the question. If you don't have the military, what happens? You go in, what's going to happen? Day one, they're going to listen to you for what?
No.
In a democracy, you're going to go in and a regime that's been telling people what to do, you better listen to me or else, you're going to get killed. Is Reza Pahlavi going to go out there? You know how many people Khomeini killed right afterwards when he went in? Thousands. And I'm talking military personnel he killed. If you're not on my side, take him out. Take him out. He's ready. Take him out. Take him out. Take him out. Take him out. Then all the other military service members are like, whoa, we better get in line or else they're going to kill us. Does he have that? How do you do it? And these are more the extremists. So how do you flip an extremist regime versus the old one? Humberto.
What? That's the or else. That's the difference. And
there is no or else today.
There is nowhere else. And the other thing is and when we had Curtis Yarvis come in, he said something that really struck a nerve with me. He was like, does the regime believe on itself? All right. If you look at the Venezuela regime, they haven't done anything revolutionary in the past 25 years. They're just keeping the status quo, trying to deal with the economy. Like they're not expanding the communist revolution in South America as they claimed. Now, if you see the Iranian regime, they're about that life path. They're sending troops to Venezuela. They're, sending money to all these terrorist organizations. Like, there's some true believers inside of the IRGC. There wasn't that many true believers, unbelievers plan in Venezuela. And once the regime stops believing themselves, I think you have a real chance of fighting. Because even if you beat them militarily, you're going to get an insurrection movement. They're going to go in hiding. They're going to go somewhere else. And then you're going to get a terrorist element inside of Iran, which is much better than them ruling the country. But it's a reality we have to live with,
Tom.
We've seen this, a case study, and the case study was the Philippines. Ferdinand Marcos and his crazy wife, literally insane, categorically insane wife, Imelda, finally are getting on the edge of being forced out by the people, and the tensions are high, and the revolution is forming. And Benito Aquino said, I need to go home, and I need to be the man for the Philippine people. American Chuck Colson, who worked with Nixon, begged him not to do it. He said, I don't think it's wise. They're not fully ready to upset you, and you need the military. When the plane landed, Marcos's henchmen, dressed as airline employees, came to the door of the plane and blew his head off as he was stepping off the plane into the Philippines. It would trigger the revolution, and his wife, Corazon Aquino, and the Laban movement was formed. But this is exactly what regime change you're talking about. You have to have the military under you. You have to know who is breaking ranks, as they will, to have you there. So we've seen it. We saw it in the Philippines. ultimately, the death of Benigno triggered the whole revolution, and the Marcoses fled to Hawaii with the help of the American CIA. True story. And suddenly, the Philippines were led under Laban. But this is exactly what we see here. Before somebody can step forward, you're right, Pat, you got to know what support do you have and what do you not have before you walk into that.
If you're part of Reza Pahlavi's camp, the first thing you have to do is find a way to get to the military folks and see if you can flip them one by one by one. If you get more, there's volume, and they're saying they have to keep it private. They can't make it public. There's already plenty of people. There may be quite a few people that have signed up, but they need to show that to the guy who you need. If you don't need the White House, if you don't need the U.S., go do it on your own. But you need America to do it. You need somebody else to do it. If you didn't need anybody else, you would have already done it. You would have already done it in the last 48 years. So his team is probably going to want to see what type of pull-in control and influence do you have in Iran, and then what the plan is afterwards. It's not going to be as pretty as everybody thinks it is. Anyways, let's go to the last story, and then we can wrap up. So this weekend, this video kept circulating. I want to finish on a lighter note. This video kept circulating that this guy climbed the biggest building in Taiwan, Taipei. This is a building the size of the World Trade Center today in New York. Just watch this clip, folks, and tell me if you would do this. By the way, there's nothing that he's hanging on to. He falls, he's dead. Just so everybody knows. And I'm going to reveal to you how much the rumor is that Netflix paid to live stream this. Netflix paid him to live stream this. And you tell me if you would have taken the amount that allegedly was offered to him from Netflix to live stream this so the audience can see it. Go ahead and play this clip, Rob. Do you see him yet? You will in a second. Focus.
Oh, down at the bottom with the red shirt?
That's him. Tom. That's him climbing.
Oh, my God.
Like an ant.
Look at that. He's climbing up, and employees are looking at him.
You see people coming to the windows?
Yeah.
Dude.
They're looking at him. They're watching him, and another guy's climbing there. You see the guy on the right?
Yeah, that guy has it easy.
He has it easy. One
cameraman.
little fall, Vinny. He's also gone.
The camera guy is just chilling on the right, hanging.
By the way, there is nothing that's holding him. And can you imagine, like, you go to a window and they're rooting for you. You got it. You're like, be quiet.
Yeah, leave me alone.
You got
now
this.
Watch. Yeah. So then he makes it to the other level. Now watch. Boom. He keeps climbing. Keeps climbing.
Oh, my God.
Keeps climbing. And here he's playing games here. Did you guys see what he was doing?
Hanging backwards with his feet.
Look at this.
Oh,
Rob, can you show another clip, close up, of what he was doing? Because there's people from the window that are recording him. Okay, people from the window that are recording him. So, do you know allegedly how much he got paid for this?
It better be $5 million or more.
Yeah, Rob, is this it? Yeah, this all the way at the top. Watch this.
Oh,
put the audio as well. See the wind?
Oh.
And he puts his hands up. Watch this.
Oh, my God, that bothers me so much.
Just looking at this from this angle.
An hour and 31 minutes.
Look at this.
Alex Honnold
You
has
slip.
made history again.
You slip a little bit. Look at that. He's putting his hands up. Penny, would you do this?
I got anxiety just thinking about what he's
Okay.
Oh, my gosh.
Shout out to him. He's an American, bro. Alex Honnold, let's go.
This is great television, Pat. I watched it live because they had to postpone.
You watch it live?
Yeah, I did watch it. Like,
Okay, tell me.
I wasn't gonna miss the biggest stream.
How sick was it?
It was the sickest thing because like the top part of it. First of all, he looked like a spider. Like all these videos are sped up. He did the whole building in an hour and a half. All right.
I don't believe
like
it. It's
Vinny.
crazy.
Vinny, he started
He's shaking his hand.
He started and he was halfway across the building in less than half an hour. I never seen anyone climb like this
what
guy.
the hell? I wonder what his fingers
Look
look
at that.
like.
Look at that. Look at that right there, Rennie. Oh, my God. No ropes.
Oh my God.
So they had the building on one side to see where he was going. They had the timer, and then he did a bunch of things that everyone was sweating, like he was hanging from his legs
I
for
saw
a
it.
minute. It was unbelievable. Great television, great for Netflix. All right, this is something new. It could have gone very wrong, but this is something new. It's positive. It's sports. It's travel.
My question is this: if he fell, were they going to record that?
It was live, Vinny.
Well, I'm saying, were they going to follow him all the way down? Because, like, listen, if I'm paying Netflix subscription.
Okay, by the way, let me tell you what's the most interesting thing, what he says. He's being asked in this interview by Graham Bensinger, which he does a good job interviewing. Rob, if you can play this clip I just sent you, he's being asked, what is the big deal about having the rope versus not having the rope. Look at the way he answers the question, okay? The psychological parts of it, it's incredible. Go ahead, Rob.
Pretty much the same physically, you've said.
Yeah.
But mentally, explain why free soloing so much more challenging.
Well, it's kind of obvious, right? Because if you fall off, you're going to die. So it's like, obviously, there's a lot more like fear involved, and like there's more second guessing, or there's just more going on in your head.
Why is it important to avoid getting your adrenaline going?
Well, I mean, it's important to avoid any kind of major fear response type thing, just because, I mean, you have like physiological changes. You know, your vision narrows, your breathing accelerates, like you over grip, like. I mean, that happens a lot of the time when you're climbing with a rope. You'll be like super, super scared, and you like can't see anything, and you're holding on super tight, and you're like, oh my God. And then you get a piece of gear in, and you like clip your rope, and all of a sudden you're safe. And then you're like, oh, and you relax, and then you're like, oh, there's this other huge hold right here that I should have grabbed but didn't see. And then you're like, oh, and there's a foothold, and suddenly you're like way more relaxed. And so, I mean, you want to stay in that relaxed state the whole time.
You know, climbing with or without a rope is
crazy, right? Rob, can you pull up what number they said they paid him? Allegedly, Netflix paid him $500,000 for
That's
this.
it?
Allegedly.
Oh,
he
my
got paid $500,000. Now, let me tell you what I would do, okay? Allegedly, I saw $500,000. You can look it up in a couple different places
for an hour and a half
to see what other numbers, but I have a suggestion for him if he's watching him. If I was his agent, I would call the Spider-Man brand, okay, put him in the movie. I think that'd be sick to be in a movie, give him a part, and make a couple $1 million from that. And he deserves, I believe he deserves to be in the next Spider-Man.
He is the Spider-Man.
I think it would be such a brilliant move by the franchise. No? What do you think?
At least a cameo, like
Yeah,
Spider-Man
seriously.
climbing, takes off the
Give him
mask.
a couple $1 million, and you know it's a way of saying, hey, Netflix, all you paid him is $500,000. Come on, man.
Yeah.
You know, and this guy goes out there and
He's
does
like a
something
villain called Climber, and he's only in black, and he
Rob,
can't
does
be
it say
seen.
here how much they paid him or no?
No, he says it was an embarrassing amount. I'm not going to say it's an embarrassing amount. Honnold told the New York Times.
Meaning not that much. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
It might be less than $500,000.
Dude, $500,000 to do this? No, imagine how much publicity. Would you not pay $500,000? Your Netflix?
Oh.
What is it, by the way, just dollar-wise, how much eyeballs did Netflix get just for this, for paying $500,000? How much dollars did they get? Ad dollars.
The ROI on this is high.
That's what I'm saying.
How much? How much you think?
Any podcast he ever goes to, if people want to see the whole thing, it's going back to Netflix. He's been on Rogan. He was on Rogan, I think, 6-7 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So this is a guy that's made the rounds of the big podcast. And respect to him.
The timing is perfect. Hockey's barely got going. You know.
There you go, $500,000.
NBA is just kind of cruising. Number of football games on the weekends is down. We're into playoffs. There's an incredible window for Netflix not to be in anybody else's way.
Yeah. Well, listen, respect to him. We're glad you made it. And one slip, man. If you looked at it, he kept putting powder on his hand because he had to stay dry.
Oh,
because, you know, your hand's sweating. You
of
slip,
course.
you're gone.
They delayed it one day because of the weather. He was going to go the day before, but they were like, no.
And
the
an
weather.
earthquake.
Oh, great. Earthquake and the wind.
There was earthquakes the whole week.
But just think about it. You're halfway up. You're hanging on your brain. You're like, what if an earthquake hits? What if an earthquake hits? What if an earthquake hits?
Man.
What if? And
you can't be
have
there.
to stay so bulletproof, focused on the job to do this.
But here's the thing, though. If he fell, because they had a mic on him, right? They're recording it.
Yeah,
he's like, Netflix is cheap. And then he's just gone. Boom. They had to record. They would have to record it. Like, you know, that would be wild. They'd have the cameraman has to stay on him.
There was
Well, you know, and you know what the last sound would be? Dong.
Oh, done.
The Netflix sound.
Oh,
Dong.
They have to have had a hold harmless if he were to fall and die. Netflix, Rob, can you pull up, did Netflix
hold
in a
harmless,
contract
more like a hold onless.
have a hold harmless that if he were to die, they were protected, or did they buy an insurance policy on him?
I was looking at the wife's face because she was down there. I think they did. She was looking very chill.
Oh, she was happy?
No, she wasn't happy,
She's
but
like,
she
do
was.
the one hand thing.
She was
Baby,
sitting
do
in the
the
van.
one-
She was very calm, so they probably had a policy in there.
She's like, baby, do that
I mean,
trick that you
what
do
kind
with
of
the
a
one hand.
wife marries a guy like this? I actually want to know what his wife does for a living, because a wife has to have a low temperament. Because can you imagine you marry a wife that's drama? Oh my God, babe, what if you die? What if you do this? Why are you doing this? Don't do it. You shouldn't do it. His wife has to be just as crazy to be able to handle something like this.
She's down at the bottom with the binoculars.
She's a life and a transition coach who focus on helping people create intentional lifestyles. I don't know what that means, but whatever it means.
As long as I'm making kids go from male to female.
Great. Listen, you shake this guy's hand.
Oh, because they have these. Like, have you ever shaken a rock climber's fingers?
No.
They're almost extended. Pat, it's very weird. It's almost like a web hands because they have to be able to hang. So this stretches out. I've shaken a professional rock climber's hands, and it was like wrapped around, and they're strong as hell. Look, you saw his body. He's not jacked. He's just ripped.
Yeah.
He's ripped and shredded.
There you go. Okay, gang. If you liked what Humberto did today, give him some love. Put his Minect up, Rob. He's on Minect as well. Do we have his handle up, Rob, or no?
We do not, but I'll put it in the chat.
Put it in the chat, folks.
Foreign policy or national affairs, politics.
Humberto right there.
He stormed the White House.
Okay.
Stormed the
And
White
if you
House.
want to tell me about how Humberto did, you can connect me as well and tell me how bad he did. I'll definitely respond back. Or how good he did. Okay, how good he was.
That picture
Anyway.
was young Berto, by the way.
Young Berto, yeah.
No, go back to that picture.
He was Bert.
Tell the truth.
It was just Bert.
That picture, go back. That's from last week. I mean, that's from last week.
Shaved.
That's a week ago. That's a week ago.
But
Okay, gang, Humberto, you did good. Good for you.
thank you for having me.
You know what I like to do is on situations like this, because it's very important when you're putting someone on the pod, especially he's internal with the team. He's been with us for a few years now. We've been preparing for him to be on today for 2 months. And I told him, be ready 2 months. How much preparation time did I give you?
I actually need to give a shout out to my team because they were ready to go.
Yeah. So super prepared to be on here. Guys, we will do the business podcast on Wednesday. Between now and then, God bless everybody. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.